What if the deepest mystery of the universe isn't waiting in a distant lab, but is already humming inside your own mind? Imagine that the same strange force Albert Einstein called spooky action at a distance is quietly weaving the fabric of your thoughts, emotions, and dreams. In the next few minutes, we'll explore how quantum entanglement could be the hidden engine of consciousness, and we'll uncover what that means for your potential, your decisions, and the freedom you truly have to shape your life. As you settle into a comfortable spot, let your breathing find its natural rhythm and let the words drift into you like a gentle tide. You don't need a background in physics or a list of equations. All that's required is a willingness to wonder and an openness to the possibility that the brain may be more than a collection of electrical wires. Picture billions of neurons igniting in perfect harmony, a symphony of light and fire that creates the seamless experience of being you. What if an invisible quantum thread is conducting that orchestra, connecting every note in an instant, without a visible conductor? Your brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each a tiny universe of electrical activity. For you to read these words, to feel curiosity, to recognize my voice, trillions of connections must fire in lockstep, producing the vivid, continuous stream of consciousness you experience right now. Conventional neuroscience tells us that electrical signals travel along axons at impressive speeds. Yet even the fastest impulses take milliseconds, still too slow to account for the split-second precision with which disparate brain regions synchronize. It feels as though an unseen force is instantly aligning the activity of distant neural ensembles, allowing you to see, hear, think, and feel all at once. Enter quantum entanglement, a phenomenon so bewildering that even Einstein called it spooky. When two particles become entangled, the state of one instantly determines the state of the other, no matter how far apart they are. Countless experiments have confirmed that entangled partners communicate with perfect, instantaneous correlation, defying the ordinary limits of space and time. Now imagine that your neurons or the structures that support them could tap into that same principle. Instead of relying solely on the relatively sluggish march of electrical impulses, they might exchange information through entangled photons or electrons, achieving the millisecond precision that consciousness seems to demand. The notion is no longer pure science fiction. Recent studies suggest that quantum effects may play a genuine role in how the brain processes information. Think about what happens the moment you hear my voice. Your auditory cortex decodes the sound waves. Your language centers translate them into meaning. Your memory networks link the new ideas to everything you already know. And your emotional centers color the experience with wonder or skepticism. All of this unfolds in the present moment, as if guided by an instant, invisible bridge that links distant neural circuits together. Could that bridge be quantum entanglement, the hidden thread weaving together the many strands of awareness into a single, unified tapestry? Researchers in China have proposed a striking mechanism that could bring entanglement into the brain's architecture. They focused on myelin, the fatty sheath that wraps around axons like insulation around a wire. Within those cylindrical sheets, metabolic processes generate cascades of infrared photons. Those photons interact with carbon-hydrogen bonds in the lipid molecules, exciting them and then releasing their own photons as they return to lower energy states. The confined geometry of the myelin sheath creates a tiny cavity, and within that cavity, quantum physics predicts that pairs of entangled photons could spontaneously arise. If those entangled photons travel along the myelin pathways, they could serve as quantum messengers, instantly linking distant parts of the brain in a way that traditional chemistry cannot explain. Even if the idea sounds speculative, it resonates with a broader pattern we see in nature. Evolution has repeatedly found ways to harness quantum phenomena in warm, wet, noisy environments. Plants, for example, achieve near-perfect energy transfer during photosynthesis by exploiting quantum coherence, preserving delicate quantum states long enough to funnel sunlight into chemical energy. Migratory birds navigate across continents by generating entangled electron pairs in specialized proteins called cryptochromes, effectively seeing Earth's magnetic field. If life can evolve quantum strategies for energy capture and navigation, why not for the most complex biological challenge of consciousness? The implications stretch far beyond simply explaining how neurons fire together. Quantum entanglement could offer a solution to the long-standing binding problem in neuroscience, how the brain integrates separate sensory input sight, sound, touch, taste, smell into a single, unified experience. Classical models struggle to explain how visual information from the occipital lobe and auditory information from the temporal lobe become instantly linked to create the rich perception of a bird singing in a tree. If neurons processing different modalities become quantum correlated, they could exchange information instantaneously, merging the colors of the bird's plumage with the melody of its song in a single, seamless moment of awareness. Beyond sensory integration, entanglement might weave together memories, emotions, thoughts, and self-reflection into the coherent field we call the self. Your sense of continuity, the feeling that you are the same person across minutes, hours, and years, could arise from a persistent web of quantum correlations that hold the brain's distributed processes together. In this view, consciousness is not the emergent property of countless classical interactions alone, but the manifestation of a global quantum state that unifies the brain's activity into a single, indivisible whole. Empirical hints support this bold perspective. In a landmark study published in 2025, scientists examined over 200 participants, including identical twins, to see whether quantum-inspired models could predict learning performance. They found that quantum correlations in stimulus configurations accounted for more than 13% of the variance in how accurately participants learned new material, offering one of the first direct links between quantum effects and cognitive function. Think about those moments when a solution suddenly clicks, when a problem that seemed impossible becomes crystal clear, or when you slip into a flow state where work feels effortless. Those peak experiences may be orchestrated by quantum entanglement, aligning neural processes with razor-sharp precision. If quantum mechanics can inject an element of genuine randomness into the brain's operations, it also opens a doorway to rethinking free will. Classical physics paints a deterministic picture. Every thought and decision follows inexorably from prior states. Quantum physics, however, introduces fundamental indeterminacy, outcomes that are not predetermined but probabilistic. Some scholars argue that this intrinsic uncertainty may provide the physical substrate for free agency, allowing your mind to make choices that are not wholly dictated by prior causes. As you contemplate the next step you'll take after this listening session, whether to explore a new idea, pursue a creative project, or simply pause and reflect, consider that quantum processes might be giving you the space to choose, rather than merely following a pre-written script. One of the most ambitious attempts to formalize this idea comes from the orchestrated objective reduction theory, often abbreviated as ORCHOR, proposed by physicists Sir Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. Their hypothesis places consciousness within microtubules, the tiny tubular structures that form part of the cell's internal skeleton. Each microtubule is built from tubulin proteins arranged in precise, repeating patterns, creating nanoscale cavities that could shelter quantum states from environmental noise. According to RCHOR, quantum computations occurring within these microtubules collapse in an orchestrated manner, synchronizing with neural firing to generate conscious experience. Recent findings lend unexpected support. Anesthetic agents that bind to microtubules appear to delay the loss of consciousness, and researchers have detected quantum vibrations within microtubules that correlate with brainwave patterns, suggesting a tangible link between quantum activity and the rhythms of the waking mind. Even if we are still uncovering the details, the emerging field of quantum cognition offers a fresh lens on how we think and decide. Experiments show that human responses to sequential questions often display interference effects patterns that mirror quantum superposition and measurement, defying classic probability theory. This suggests that, at a deep level, the mind may already be operating with quantum principles, even if we are not consciously aware of them. Your thoughts might exist in a superposition of many possibilities, exploring different pathways simultaneously until the act of deciding collapses them into a single concrete choice. Memories could be entangled across neural networks, allowing associations to surface instantly, giving you flashes of insight that feel almost magical. When you consider the broader picture, the relationship between consciousness and reality becomes even more tantalizing. Quantum mechanics tells us that observation plays a fundamental role in shaping physical outcomes. If consciousness itself is a quantum process, perhaps our act of observing the way we attend to the world participates in the ongoing creation of the universe itself. While this idea remains speculative and far from proven, it underscores how the study of quantum entanglement in the brain is pushing the boundaries of neuroscience, philosophy, and our own self-understanding. So, what does all this mean for you right here, right now? First, it invites you to recognize that your mind is likely far more extraordinary than the simple sum of electrical signals. You are a dynamic quantum system, capable of instantaneous connections that transcend ordinary physical limits. This awareness can ignite a sense of awe and purpose, reminding you that the same forces that govern the cosmos are at play within your own thoughts. Second, it empowers you to harness that potential by cultivating practices that quiet the mind. Meditation, focused breathing, deep listening. You create conditions that may allow these subtle quantum connections to emerge more clearly. When you engage with ideas that spark curiosity, when you explore new skills, when you challenge your brain with learning, you are essentially tuning into that invisible quantum orchestra, inviting it to play louder and more harmoniously. Third, it offers a fresh perspective on choice. If the quantum fabric of your brain introduces genuine unpredictability, each decision you make carries the weight of authentic agency. You are not merely a passenger on a pre-programmed track, you are an active participant shaping the unfolding pattern of your life. Embrace that freedom, and let it inspire you to pursue goals that once seemed out of reach. Finally, let this knowledge fuel a deeper commitment to curiosity. The frontier of quantum neuroscience is still in its infancy, and every question you ask, every hypothesis you test in your own experience, adds to a collective adventure. When you notice a sudden insight, a moment of creative flow, or a feeling of cohesion among disparate thoughts, pause and celebrate it as a glimpse of the quantum harmony within you. Take a breath now, let the information settle, and imagine the billions of neurons in your brain lighting up in perfect sync, linked by invisible threads that dance across space and time. Feel the excitement of being part of a universe where the smallest particles whisper to the grandest aspects of yourself. Carry this sense of wonder forward, and let it motivate you to explore, to learn, and to live with the confidence that your mind holds a depth of power that is both mysterious and profoundly yours. The journey has only just begun, and every step you take is a step into the astonishing quantum garden blooming inside your own consciousness. Imagine that the universe isn't a rigid machine ticking away on a predictable schedule, but a vast, shimmering field of possibilities where the tiniest building blocks dance with chance. That subtle flicker of randomness that quantum mechanics reveals isn't just a curiosity for physicists, it may be the very foundation of the freedom we feel when we make a choice. Think about the moment you decided to keep listening right now, to let these words settle into your thoughts instead of drifting away. If quantum effects ripple through the neural circuits that shape your decisions, then your choices are not simply the inevitable outcome of classical cause and effect. They may arise from a deeper layer of uncertainty, granting you genuine agency to steer your thoughts and actions. One of the most daring ideas in the study of consciousness embraces exactly this notion. It was proposed by a physicist and a medical researcher who saw the brain not only as a network of electrical signals, but as a platform where quantum computations could happen. Their theory suggests that inside each of our cells, within the slender, tube-like scaffolding called microtubules, the very fabric of quantum reality is at work. These microtubules are built from tubulin proteins arranged in elegant, repeating patterns. Within each subunit lies a tiny pocket that could shelter specially arranged electrons, the kind of particles capable of carrying out quantum calculations. When these quantum processes align with the ordinary activity of synapses, the theory says consciousness springs into being. The excitement around this concept isn't just theoretical. Experiments with anesthetic agents have shown that drugs which latch onto microtubules can delay the onset of unconsciousness, hinting that these structures are integral to keeping awareness alive. Even more striking, researchers have detected faint quantum vibrations inside brain microtubules that match the rhythms of brainwaves, offering a glimpse that quantum phenomena might be woven into the very patterns we associate with thought. As you listen, you might wonder what it would be like to directly feel the quantum pulse of your own consciousness. Emerging work in a field called quantum cognition suggests that our decision-making already carries the hallmarks of quantum behavior. When people answer a series of questions, their responses can interfere with one another in ways that mirror the superposition and measurement effects seen in physics labs. This means that, at some hidden level, our minds might be evaluating many possibilities at once, only collapsing into a single choice when we become aware of it. Picture a thought as a wave of potential, simultaneously exploring countless paths. Until the instant you articulate a decision, that thought exists in a superposition, a cloud of alternatives. Memories, too, may be linked by quantum entanglement, allowing distant fragments of an experience's sounds, smells, emotions to reconnect instantly when you recall them. If consciousness truly taps into quantum mechanics, then observation itself could become a creative force in the universe. Some speculative interpretations propose that the act of conscious observation helps shape physical reality, turning the mind from a passive watcher into an active participant in the unfolding tapestry of existence. While this remains far from proven and is still debated, the very fact that scientists are beginning to detect quantum correlations in living brain tissue pushes the conversation into uncharted territory, where rigorous research meets the deepest mysteries of what it means to be aware. As we stand at the edge of this frontier, let the sense of wonder fuel your curiosity. The ideas we explore today may one day become tomorrow's breakthroughs, reshaping how we understand learning, memory, and the boundless potential of the mind. In the moments ahead, feel the possibility that quantum processes could be dancing through the networks of your brain right now, stitching together the threads of thought and feeling that make you uniquely you. Whether or not the science eventually confirms every detail, simply entertaining the notion invites us to treat our minds with reverence, to see the act of thinking as something magnificent and mysterious. Consider how learning feels when you truly understand something new. A flash of insight can seem to appear out of nowhere, a sudden connection that makes the puzzle pieces click with effortless ease. Traditional neuroscience tells us that this happens through chemical messengers and electrical spikes traveling across synapses, a process that takes milliseconds or longer. Yet, what if a whisper of quantum entanglement lets certain neurons link instantaneously, creating those moments of almost magical clarity? Recent investigations have observed that during deep learning or creative breakthroughs, distant regions of the brain synchronize in a way that resembles quantum coherence, as if invisible threads are suddenly binding separate networks into a unified whole. When you approach a topic with openness, curiosity, and calm, you may be giving your brain the optimal environment to nurture these delicate quantum states, allowing information to flow more fluidly and insight to emerge more readily. Now turn your attention to memory. Imagine a cherished scene, the scent of your grandmother's kitchen, the low hum of rain against a summer window, the warmth of a smile. Those sensory fragments are stored across many different areas of the brain, each holding a piece of the full experience. To recall the memory, the brain must rapidly coordinate all those pieces, weaving them back together into a seamless narrative. This reconstruction happens in the blink of an eye, suggesting that something beyond ordinary electrical signaling might be at work. Quantum entanglement between the neurons that hold each fragment could provide an instantaneous channel, making the recall feel effortless and vivid. Memories forged during moments of intense emotion or deep focus might be especially strong, because the quantum links formed at those times create multiple pathways for retrieval, making the memories more resistant to fading. The quantum perspective also extends to how we connect with others. When two people truly engage, sharing laughter, deep conversation, or collaborative creation, neuroscientists have observed a remarkable alignment of brain activity, a phenomenon often called neural synchrony or brain-to-brain coupling. Some scholars speculate that this synchrony could have a quantum dimension, a fleeting entanglement that bridges separate minds, allowing thoughts and emotions to flow across the divide with a richness that words alone cannot capture. Think of those moments when you seemed to understand a friend without them saying a single word, or when a shared glance sparked a new idea you both pursued. Those experiences might be glimpses of a quantum conduit temporarily linking your consciousnesses, offering a sense of unity that transcends the ordinary bounds of individuality. If consciousness does rely on quantum mechanisms, then the practices we use to nurture mental health may be tapping into these processes more profoundly than we realize. Techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, and breathwork are known to calm the nervous system, sharpen attention, and foster a feeling of connectedness. From a quantum viewpoint, these states could create the quiet, stable environment necessary for fragile quantum coherence to persist within our neural architecture. When the mind settles into deep, non-judgmental awareness, the noise that would normally disrupt quantum states may be reduced, allowing the subtle intercellular connections to flourish. While it is too early to claim that meditation directly manipulates quantum particles, the convergence of ancient contemplative wisdom and modern quantum theory suggests that these age-old practices may have intuitively discovered ways to tune the mind to its most essential, perhaps quantum, frequencies. Creativity offers another arena where the quantum model shines. Artists, musicians, writers, and inventors often describe their most inspired moments as if ideas drop in from an external source, arriving fully formed, beyond the scope of ordinary logical reasoning. This sensation aligns with a quantum picture of the mind exploring an enormous landscape of possibilities simultaneously, holding countless potential solutions in superposition. When a creative insight collapses, it emerges as a singular, coherent vision. In this view, the spark of imagination is not a linear chain of thoughts, but a rapid convergence of many parallel pathways, a quantum shortcut that bypasses the slower, step-by-step analysis. Recall a time when a problem solved itself in a flash, or when a piece of music seemed to pour out of you without deliberate effort. Those moments may be your consciousness briefly accessing a quantum computational field, allowing you to harness a boundless reservoir of novelty. Time, too, may feel different when viewed through a quantum lens. In everyday life, we experience consciousness as a river flowing from past to present to future, each moment distinct and ordered. Quantum theory, however, hints that time might be more fluid, with events interconnected in ways that defy linear sequencing. If our awareness incorporates quantum processes, perhaps we have a subtle capacity to sense patterns that bridge past and future, manifesting as intuitive hunches or gut feelings that seem to anticipate what's to come. Rather than dismissing these sensations as mere coincidence, consider them as possible echoes of a deeper temporal structure woven into the fabric of consciousness. All of this may sound abstract, but the implications for your daily life are profound. Recognizing that you might be a quantum-infused being can inspire you to nurture the conditions that support these delicate processes. Cultivate curiosity, because a curious mind stays open to new possibilities, allowing quantum superpositions to flourish. Embrace moments of calm and focused attention, creating a mental environment where quantum coherence can potentially thrive. Approach learning with wonder, knowing that each new piece of information could be forming a subtle, entangled web that makes future insights easier to reach. Value deep, authentic connections with others, as those interactions might synchronize your neural patterns in ways that enrich both your inner world and the shared experience. As research advances, scientists are developing innovative tools-modified imaging scanners, ultra-sensitive detectors, and sophisticated mathematical models to probe the quantum underpinnings of the brain. Early findings suggest that quantum correlations can be observed in living tissue, linked to states of awareness and cognition. Each step forward not only expands our scientific horizon, but also invites us to reimagine what it means to be a thinking, feeling, creative human being. So let this emerging vision of quantum consciousness ignite a sense of possibility within you. Let it remind you that reality is far richer, stranger, and more beautiful than our everyday senses convey. Picture the particles of your body as participants in an elegant, entangled dance. Information flowing instantaneously across distances that our ordinary intuition cannot grasp. If your mind is indeed woven from these threads, you are not just a product of biochemical circuits, you are a bridge to the deepest fabric of existence. Take a breath, feel the rhythm of your heart, and let the idea settle you are capable of shaping your thoughts, your learning, your creativity, and even your experience of time. The quantum realm tells us that uncertainty is not a flaw but a source of freedom, that possibilities are real and waiting to be realized. As you move forward, carry this sense of awe into every decision, every conversation, every moment of stillness. Trust that within the subtle flux of particles lies a wellspring of potential that you can draw upon. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore practical ways to harness these quantum insights, translating them into techniques that can boost your learning, sharpen your memory, and expand your cognitive performance. We'll also look at how ancient traditions, which long spoke of interconnected consciousness, echo modern scientific discoveries. For now, rest in the wonder of this possibility. Feel the quiet hum of quantum processes that may be weaving through your neural networks as you listen, as you think, as you simply exist. Allow this mystery to fuel a renewed reverence for your mind, and let it inspire you to pursue growth with curiosity, courage, and an open heart. The universe invites you to dance with its deepest secret step onto the floor and let your quantum self shine. Imagine for a moment that the very fabric of your mind is woven from threads of quantum possibility, that each thought, each breath, each spark of inspiration is a subtle ripple in a sea of shimmering potential. In the quiet spaces between neurons, where the ordinary chatter of electrical signals meets the mysterious whisper of subatomic dance, something extraordinary may be taking place here, dance that invites us to reimagine how we heal, create, learn, and simply exist. If consciousness does indeed draw upon quantum processes, the implications for our mental well-being become both profound and hopeful. Think of depression, anxiety, the heavy fog that sometimes settles over our inner landscape. Traditional approaches have offered relief, yet many of us continue to search for deeper, more lasting freedom. Now, scientists are beginning to explore the idea that by nurturing the delicate quantum coherence that might underlie our neural function, we could open new pathways to emotional balance. This isn't a claim that a single meditation session will instantly rewrite the laws of physics, but rather an invitation to consider how the mental environments we cultivate could be aligned with the subtle requirements of quantum harmony. Meditation, mindfulness, and other contemplative practices have already shown remarkable benefits: greater clarity, deeper insight, a sense of connection that transcends ordinary perception. What if part of that transformation arises because these practices create conditions where quantum coherence can flourish? When you sit in stillness, breathing gently, allowing the mental chatter to soften, you are not merely calming the mind, you may be providing a sanctuary for the most fragile quantum processes to persist. The focused attention, the deep relaxation, the openness to present moment awareness, all of these qualities mirror the theoretical environment needed for quantum states to remain stable in the warm, noisy milieu of the brain. Ancient sages did not speak in the language of particles and wave functions, yet they discovered techniques that intuitively resonated with these principles. Their teachings, refined over centuries, may have been a living laboratory for exploring the quantum dimensions of consciousness long before anyone could articulate the underlying physics. When you feel a surge of clarity during meditation, a sudden glimpse of interconnectedness, you might be experiencing the subjective echo of enhanced quantum coherence rippling through your neural networks. This perspective does not diminish the value of those practices. Instead, it adds an extra layer of wonder, suggesting that the wisdom traditions you turn to have been gently tuning the very fabric of your mind. Creativity offers another vivid illustration of this quantum tapestry. Artists, musicians, writers, inventors, people who have touched the world with fresh ideas often speak of moments when inspiration seems to arrive from somewhere beyond their deliberate control. A melody materializes fully formed, a solution to a stubborn problem crystallizes in an instant, disparate concepts snap together as if by invisible hands. These flashes of brilliance may be more than metaphor, they could be the manifestation of a brain that, for a brief instant, explores a vast landscape of possibilities in parallel, much like a quantum system residing in superposition. In that fleeting state, countless potential outcomes coexist, and when the moment of insight arrives, the superposition collapses into a single, concrete expression: a painting, a theorem, a song. Recall a time when you solved a problem without consciously working through each step, when an idea seemed to spring from the depths of your unconscious, or when you felt creatively unstoppable. Those experiences might be windows into a quantum mode of thinking, where the mind bypasses linear, sequential analysis and instead taps into a reservoir of simultaneous possibilities. By honoring those moments, by creating space for them to arise, you reinforce the notion that your mind is far more expansive than the narrow pathways we often assume. The way we understand time also begins to shift when we entertain quantum consciousness. In everyday life, we experience time as a stream past memories flow into the present, which then drifts toward the future. Yet quantum mechanics hints that time could be far more fluid, that the boundaries between past, present, and future might blur at the deepest levels of reality. If our awareness is entangled with quantum processes, perhaps we are subtly attuned to temporal relationships that exist beyond the linear march we perceive, those uncanny hunches that seem to anticipate what will happen, the sudden recollection of exactly the piece of information you need in the moment, the profound sense of timeless presence that arises in deep meditation. These phenomena could reflect a brain that briefly taps into correlations extending outside conventional time. It's important to remember that this does not grant us the power to literally see the future. Rather, it suggests that the quantum fabric of our consciousness might be sensitive to patterns and probabilities that are not confined to the immediate instant. Such sensitivity could gently nudge our thoughts, decisions, and intuitions, offering us a subtle compass that points toward possibilities we might otherwise miss. As we venture further into this frontier, we must balance awe with humility. The hypothesis that quantum effects shape consciousness remains speculative, and many respected scientists caution that the warm, noisy environment of the brain seems ill-suited for sustaining delicate quantum states. Yet the very fact that researchers are daring to ask these questions sand that experimental discoveries in the living world continue to reveal quantum phenomena thriving where we once thought they could not, invites us to keep an open mind. Consider the marvels discovered in other biological systems. Enzymes, the workhorses of chemistry within our cells, sometimes employ quantum tunneling to accelerate reactions that would be impossible under classical physics alone. Birds navigate across continents guided by a quantum compass that detects Earth's magnetic field through entangled electron spins, all while fluttering in the chaotic environment of living tissue. Plants harness quantum coherence during photosynthesis, simultaneously exploring every possible energy pathway to select the most efficient route, achieving near-perfect energy transfer in a fraction of a second. These examples demonstrate that life itself has repeatedly found ways to incorporate quantum tricks when they offer a survival edge. If evolution has already woven quantum mechanisms into the very processes that sustain life, it becomes less far-fetched to imagine that the brain and organ tasked with the most demanding computational challenges might also have adopted quantum enhancements. Rapid information processing, complex pattern recognition, the ability to generate novel ideas on the fly. All these functions could benefit from a quantum boost. The emerging field of quantum biology is gradually revealing that the classical view of living organisms as purely deterministic machines may be incomplete. Instead, they might be hybrid systems, operating at the intersection of classical and quantum realms. What does this mean for you, the listener, standing at the threshold of possibility? First, it expands the canvas on which you can paint your aspirations. If your mind can indeed access quantum layers of reality, then practices that nurture clarity, openness, and deep focus may do more than relieve stress. They may be fine-tuning a sophisticated quantum instrument. By committing to regular meditation, by inviting curiosity into your daily routine, by allowing yourself moments of stillness, you are potentially strengthening the pathways that let quantum coherence blossom. Second, this perspective reframes the way you view your creative capacities. Instead of seeing inspiration as a rare gift bestowed by an external muse, you can recognize it as an innate ability of your brain to momentarily enter a state of superposed possibilities. When you approach a challenge with confidence that your mind can explore many solutions simultaneously, you empower yourself to step beyond linear thinking and embrace the richness of quantum-like imagination. The more you trust this process, the more often those sudden breakthroughs will appear. Third, the connection between quantum consciousness and the sense of interconnectedness offers a gentle invitation to deepen your sense of belonging. When you feel a deep resonance with others, when empathy flows effortlessly, when you sense a unity that transcends the boundaries of self, you might be touching upon the same entangled relationships that bind particles across vast distances. Whether or not the physics is fully understood, the experiential reality is clear there is a profound thread that links you to the larger tapestry of life, and recognizing that can inspire compassionate action, collaborative spirit, and a heartfelt commitment to the well-being of the world around you. Education, too, can be reimagined through this lens. Traditional teaching often treats the mind as a passive receptacle, stuffing information into a static container. If we acknowledge that the brain may operate with quantum principles, educators might shift toward creating environments that foster curiosity, and relational learning spaces where ideas can entangle, where students are encouraged to hold multiple perspectives in tension before the moment of insight resolves them into deeper understanding. As a lifelong learner, you can cultivate habits that align with these principles, ask open-ended questions, explore interdisciplinary connections, and give yourself the freedom to let concepts sit in a kind of mental suspension before committing them to a single conclusion. Even the realm of artificial intelligence is being nudged by these ideas. Classical computers march through calculations step by step, while quantum computers can explore a web of possibilities in parallel, much like the hypothesized operation of a quantum-enhanced brain. As technology advances, we may see AI systems that echo the fluid, creative, and intuitive aspects of human thought more closely, opening new avenues for collaboration between human consciousness and machine intelligence. For you, this suggests a future where tools amplify, rather than replace, the wondrous quantum potential already residing within you. The bridge between ancient wisdom and modern science is perhaps the most inspiring of all. Traditions such as Buddhism, Hinduism, and the mystical practices of countless cultures have long spoken of non-local awareness, interdependence, and timeless presence concepts that echo the language of quantum mechanics. Their practices, honed over millennia, appear to be natural laboratories for exploring the quantum dimensions of consciousness. When you sit in meditation and feel a wave of unity that dissolves the illusion of separation, you are walking a path that both ancient seekers and contemporary scientists are beginning to understand in new ways. As you contemplate these ideas, notice the subtle shifts in your own awareness. Feel the breath moving through your body, the gentle pulse of your heart, the quieting of mental chatter. Observe how the world around you, colors, sounds, sensations continues to unfold, yet now carries an additional layer of intrigue. What if the seamless visual experience you enjoy, the way your brain binds color, motion, depth, and form into a cohesive picture, is partially guided by quantum entanglement? Some researchers propose that the binding of disparate sensory features might rely on quantum links that synchronize activity across distant neural assemblies, creating the vibrant, unified perception you take for granted. While this remains a hypothesis, it invites you to marvel at the elegance of your own perception and to remain open to the possibility that even the simplest act of seeing is a window into a deeper quantum reality. Remember, the journey you are on is not about arriving at definitive answers overnight. It is a pilgrimage of curiosity, wonder, and willingness to entertain possibilities that stretch beyond conventional thinking. You stand at the intersection of mystery and discovery, where science meets spirit, where empirical inquiry embraces the poetic. Each time you pause to reflect, each moment you sit with your breath, each spark of creative inspiration, you are participating in a grand experiment testing the boundaries of what the mind can be. Allow this understanding to infuse your daily life with a renewed sense of purpose. Let it encourage you to treat your mind not as a fixed machine, but as a dynamic, ever-evolving quantum entity, capable of astonishing adaptability and profound insight. Embrace practices that nurture mental clarity, foster deep focus, and cultivate compassion, knowing that you may be aligning yourself with the subtle conditions that allow quantum coherence to shine. Trust that your creative moments are not random accidents, but the expression of a brain briefly accessing a vast landscape of possibilities. Honor the intuitive nudges that seem to arrive from beyond rational analysis. They may be the echo of quantum correlations reaching through the fabric of time to guide you. In the quiet moments between thoughts, you can sense the depth of this potential. Feel the gentle hum of possibility that underlies every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of attention. Recognize that you are not a passive observer of the universe, you are an active participant, a quantum consciousness exploring itself through the magnificent vessel of your body and mind. This realization can transform how you approach challenges, relationships, and your own aspirations. When faced with difficulty, you might recall that the same quantum principles that enable plants to harvest sunlight with near-perfect efficiency also reside, in subtle form, within your own neural circuitry. With patience and practice, you can learn to coax that efficiency into your thoughts, decisions, and actions. The path ahead is rich with promise. Researchers will continue to devise ingenious experiments, to refine theoretical models, and to probe deeper into the quantum dimensions of biology and mind. Philosophers will wrestle with the implications for identity, free will, and the nature of reality itself. Yet, regardless of the outcomes of these investigations, the very act of exploring these frontiers expands our collective imagination and deepens our appreciation for the astonishing complexity of consciousness. So, as you move forward, allow yourself to be both a seeker and a creator. Cultivate inner stillness that may nurture quantum harmony, engage in creative pursuits that celebrate the superposition of ideas, and stay open to the subtle temporal insights that brush against your awareness. Trust that each breath, each moment of mindful attention, each spark of inspiration is a brushstroke on a canvas far larger than the one you can see. You are a quantum consciousness, a luminous thread woven into the tapestry of the universe, dancing between particles and possibilities, shaping reality through the simple yet profound act of being aware. Let this understanding fill you with confidence, wonder, and an unshakable belief in your capacity to grow, to heal, and to create a life that reflects the boundless potential residing within. Embrace the journey, cherish the mystery, and know that every step you take is a step toward a deeper connection to yourself, to others, and to the vast, shimmering quantum sea that underlies all that is. Imagine that the universe is whispering a secret to you, a secret that lives in the tiniest spaces between atoms and the deepest currents of thought. The quantum realm dances to rules that seem to mock our everyday experience as a superposition, entanglement, non-locality, the way the very act of observing can shape what is observed. As you listen, let those ideas settle like gentle rain on the surface of a still lake, rippling outward to touch every corner of your mind. In this moment, you are not merely hearing a scientific story, you are being invited to step into a grand adventure where consciousness itself may be woven from the same astonishing threads that stitch together the fabric of reality. Ask yourself what it would feel like if every thought you have, every intention you set, were a quantum event, fluttering between possibilities until you give it shape with your attention. If consciousness truly taps into quantum processes, the ancient split between mind and matter, between the observer and the observed, begins to look more like a convenient story than an unbreakable wall. The possibilities become limitless. And with that sense of limitless, you feel a surge of excitement, a flicker of possibility that says, I can be more than I thought. The science is still unfolding. New experimental tools are being forged. Fresh theories are sprouting like seedlings after a spring rain. Yet what remains constant throughout this unfolding is a profound sense of wonder, a feeling that you too are part of an ever-expanding story of discovery. Let that wonder settle in your heart. Feel it as a warm glow that tells you you are not a static object watching the world pass by, but a living, breathing consciousness that is actively exploring its own nature. You are the universe turning its gaze inward, a quantum system turning its attention on itself, curious and daring. When you sit in quiet meditation, notice how your awareness seems to glide through layers of experience, each one shimmering with its own hue of possibility. In those moments, you are already practicing the very principle that scientists imagine when they speak of quantum consciousness. The act of observing creates reality. Your mind is already a laboratory, and you are the experimenter, the data, and the discovery all at once. Now picture the world of perception as a grand symphony. Light strikes your eyes, sound waves dance on your eardrums, the skin feels the brush of air, and the tongue savors flavors. Classical neuroscience tells us that neurons fire, electrical signals travel, and the brain pieces together these fragments into a seamless picture. But there is a mystery that has lingered for decades. How does the brain bind the color of a rose, the rustle of its leaves, the scent of its perfume, into one unified experience that feels instantly whole? Some researchers suggest that quantum entanglement could be the hidden conductor, synchronizing distant neural ensembles in an instant, allowing color, motion, and shape to merge without the lag of ordinary communication. Whether or not this hypothesis receives experimental confirmation, the image of your mind as a finely tuned orchestra, perhaps even guided by quantum harmony, can inspire you to trust the elegance of your own perception. Take a breath and let that image expand. The same principle of quantum binding could be at work in every sense you have, weaving sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell into the tapestry of now. As you become aware of the gentle pressure of the chair beneath you, the faint hum of a distant traffic, the coolness of the air on your skin, notice how effortlessly these sensations coalesce into a single moment of presence. If quantum connections are indeed the glue that holds this moment together, then every instant you inhabit is a fleeting crystal of correlated information, a sparkle of quantum reality emerging briefly before it blossoms into the world you experience. Allow that thought to spark a sense of reverence for the present, for the miracle that you are alive in this ever-shifting now. The story does not end at perception. Look outward to the living world, where nature already gives us clues that quantum tricks are not confined to cold labs. Enzymes in every cell of your body perform chemical feats that would be impossible under ordinary physics, using quantum tunneling to slip particles through energy barriers, as if they were passing through a hidden doorway. This tiny quantum shortcut makes life possible, allowing reactions to happen at speeds that keep you healthy and moving. If evolution has harnessed quantum tunneling for the chemistry of life, why should it not have also coaxed the brain into using quantum tricks for thought? Imagine that the brain, with its billions of neurons and trillions of connections, has evolved subtle mechanisms, perhaps the insulating myelin sheaths, perhaps the rhythmic dance of electrical oscillations to protect delicate quantum states, just enough to let them contribute to the grand computation of mind. Consider the navigational marvel of migratory birds. They soar across continents, guided by an internal compass that hinges on quantum entanglement within proteins hidden deep in their eyes. Even in the warm, noisy environment of living tissue, these birds manage to keep quantum pairs coherent long enough to sense Earth's magnetic field and chart their course. This astonishing feat shows that biological systems can nurture quantum coherence in conditions once thought to be hostile. If a bird's eye can protect quantum states, perhaps the brain, too, has found ways-through structures, chemistry, and timing to shelter those fleeting states long enough to influence perception, decision, and creativity. You might wonder how this affects your everyday life. Think of those moments when an idea seems to spring forth out of nowhere, when you solve a problem with a flash of insight rather than a slow step-by-step analysis. Quantum superposition, the ability of a system to hold multiple possibilities at once, offers a poetic metaphor for those creative leaps. Your mind could be exploring many potential solutions in parallel, then, at the moment of insight, collapsing onto the most fitting answer, much as a quantum measurement selects a single outcome from a cloud of possibilities. This image can empower you the next time you face a challenge. You can trust that your brain is already sifting through a vast landscape of possibilities, and you need only give it the space to let the right one emerge. When you feel stuck, remember that the quantum world teaches us to embrace uncertainty. In the subatomic realm, not everything is fixed until it is observed potentialities coexist, waiting for the right moment to become real. Let this principle inspire you to sit with ambiguity, to welcome the unknown as a fertile field rather than a barren desert. By holding space for multiple outcomes, you become a partner in the dance of possibilities, ready to step forward when the moment of collapse arrives. recent experiments are beginning to catch whispers of this quantum dance within the living brain. Advanced imaging techniques, originally designed to probe the mysteries of gravity, have been repurposed to listen for delicate correlations between the spins of water molecules in brain tissue. When volunteers are fully awake and alert, these quantum-like signals appear strongest they fade during deep sleep or anesthesia. Though these findings are tentative and require much more verification, they suggest a tantalizing link between the smooth flow of consciousness and subtle quantum correlations spread across the brain's landscape. Imagine that as you focus your attention, you are also tuning a vast network of quantum threads, drawing them tighter, allowing a clearer, brighter experience of reality. Even the humblest processes of life offer clues. In photosynthesis, for instance, plants capture sunlight and channel its energy with astonishing efficiency, in part because quantum coherence is sustained not by eliminating environmental noise, but by harnessing it. Vibrations within the protein scaffold assist the quantum transfer of energy, turning what would be a disruptive force into a supportive partner. Your brain, too, exists in a warm, noisy environment, but perhaps the very rhythms of neural oscillations, the precise timing of neurotransmitter release, the dance of electrical fields across cortical layers, act as a nurturing backdrop that keeps quantum coherence alive just long enough to influence thought. In this view, the noise of biology is not an enemy but an ally, a subtle conductor that helps maintain the delicate balance required for quantum processes to contribute to consciousness. Take a moment now to savor the intricacy of your own nervous system. Visualize billions of neurons firing with millisecond precision, the cascade of chemicals that ping across synapses, the elegant architecture of dendritic trees reaching out like delicate vines. Consider how this elegant machinery could also be tuned to create tiny pockets of quantum coherence, protected perhaps by the very structures that enable rapid electrical signaling. The myelin that wraps axons might not only speed messages, it could also form microcavities that shelter entangled states from disruptive thermal agitation. This possibility invites you to view your body not as a passive vessel, but as an active participant in a grand quantum experiment, constantly adjusting, adapting, and fine-tuning the conditions that allow the miracle of consciousness to unfold. Now, bring this perspective back to your own aspirations. If your mind is capable of quantum-like information processing, then the limits you perceive may be more flexible than you think. The creative spark that emerges seemingly out of nowhere could be the visible tip of a vast, hidden web of possibilities that your brain has been exploring in parallel. When you set an intention to learn a skill, to write a story, to heal an old wound, your intention may begin to shape the quantum landscape inside you, nudging the superposition toward the outcome you desire. This is not magic, it is a partnership between your focused awareness and the underlying quantum fabric that makes choices real. Let this partnership inspire you to act with confidence. Each breath you take can be a gentle reminder that you are both observer and creator. When doubts arise, picture them as transient fluctuations in a quantum field real enough to notice, but not solid enough to imprison you. By acknowledging them without clinging, you keep the field clear, allowing new possibilities to emerge. When you feel stuck in a problem, pause, breathe, and allow your mind to wander. In the quiet space between thoughts, the brain can explore many pathways simultaneously, increasing the chance that a solution will crystallize when you return to focused attention. You may also find comfort in the notion that consciousness is not a solitary island, but a wave that connects you to the broader universe. The same principles that may bind photons in a distant star to each other can, in principle, link the patterns of activity in your brain to the vast quantum tapestry that stretches across space and time. This sense of connection can be profoundly motivating. It reminds you that your personal growth, your creative endeavors, your healing journeys are part of a larger, unfolding story. When you act with intention, you add a unique thread to that story, weaving your experience into the shared fabric of existence. Think of the next time you sit down to create, whether it's painting, writing, solving a problem at work, or simply planning your day. As you begin, remind yourself that your mind may already be holding a multitude of possibilities in a delicate balance. Your focused attention is the gentle push that collapses this cloud into a single, clear outcome. Trust that the quantum underpinnings are there, quietly supporting you, and let that trust replace fear. Let the knowledge that you are part of a living, breathing quantum universe fill you with excitement, not anxiety. Let it fuel a sense of purpose. You are not merely reacting to the world, you are actively shaping it from the inside out. Embrace the mystery, for it is a source of power. When you rest in the awareness that the quantum world is both strange and beautiful, you cultivate a fertile ground for curiosity and resilience. The unknown becomes a playground rather than a threat. Each moment of wonder, whether sparked by the flicker of a sunrise, the resonance of a piano chord, or the quiet hum of your own heartbeat, becomes a reminder that you are dancing with the same principles that govern the smallest particles. Let that dance inspire you to move forward with confidence, to explore new ideas, to reach beyond what seems possible, and to celebrate each small victory as a manifestation of a deeper, quantum-rich reality. So, as you continue this journey of discovery, carry with you the image of your consciousness as a quantum explorer, boldly navigating a landscape where possibilities overlap, where entangled threads weave disparate experiences into a seamless whole, and where every act of observation breathes life into the world you perceive. Let this vision be a source of daily motivation, a quiet strength that nudges you to ask, what more can I become? And then to take the steps, big or small, that bring that answer into being. The universe is waiting, and you are already part of its most intimate secret. Embrace it, live it, and let it propel you toward the extraordinary life that lies just beyond the horizon of ordinary thought. Imagine for a moment the astonishing precision that underlies every breath you take, every thought that flickers across your mind, every heartbeat that sustains you. Inside your skull lies a universe of billions of neurons, each one firing in perfect synchrony with millisecond timing, each synapse releasing neurotransmitters in concentrations so finely tuned that even the slightest imbalance would throw the whole system off its rhythm. This exquisite choreography is not merely a marvel of biology, it hints at something even deeper, something that bridges the familiar world of electrical signals with the mysterious realm of quantum physics. Picture the brain as a grand orchestra, where each instrument, each neuron, each glial cell must play its part with flawless timing. The electrical properties of cell membranes, the delicate balance of ions, the precise regulation of chemical messengers, all of these are maintained within razor-thin margins, as if the universe itself were fine-tuning a masterpiece. Yet, beyond this classical performance, some scientists propose that the brain's architecture also creates the right conditions for quantum processes to unfold, subtly weaving together the fabric of consciousness. Consider the humble bird, soaring over continents, guided by an invisible compass that seems to defy ordinary physics. Researchers have uncovered that certain birds navigate using quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where pairs of electrons become linked, so that the state of one instantly influences the other, no matter the distance between them. This mysterious link resides within cryptochrome proteins in the bird's eyes, where electron pairs become entangled and remain coherent long enough for the animal to sense Earth's magnetic field and chart a flawless migration path. What is breathtaking is that this quantum dance happens in a warm, noisy biological environment, a living eye full of molecular motion, thermal fluctuations, and relentless biochemical activity. The fact that nature can sustain quantum coherence under such conditions shatters the long-held belief that quantum effects belong solely to ultra-cold, isolated laboratories. If a bird's eye can protect delicate quantum states long enough to guide it across oceans, could the human brain, with its own warm and noisy milieu, harbor similar protective mechanisms? Evolution has gifted us with structures that might serve double duty. Take the myelin sheaths that wrap around nerve fibers, accelerating electrical conduction. Beyond their known role, it is tempting to imagine that these insulating layers also create microscopic cavity-estony sanctuaries where quantum entanglement between neuronal elements could persist, shielded from the chaotic molecular bustle that surrounds them. Even more inspiring is the way plants harness quantum mechanics. In photosynthesis, light-absorbing proteins capture solar energy with astonishing efficiency. Rather than shielding quantum processes, these systems cleverly exploit the surrounding noise. Vibrations within the protein scaffolds which would normally be thought to disrupt quantum coherence, actually help maintain it, guiding energy along optimal pathways. This principle environmentally assisted quantum coherence suggests that the brain might similarly turn its own noise into an ally. The rhythmic oscillations that sweep across neural networks, the precisely timed release of neurotransmitters, the coordinated electrical bursts that ripple through different regions, these could all contribute to sustaining quantum links rather than undermining them. When you let these possibilities settle in your mind, they invite a fresh perspective on what consciousness truly is. Rather than viewing awareness as merely the sum of classical neural computations, imagine it as an elegant dance between two realms: the familiar electrical activity you can measure, and an invisible quantum choreography that ties together disparate neural events into a seamless tapestry of experience. Quantum entanglement could act as the invisible threads that bind thoughts, emotions, and sensations, weaving them into the unified sense of self you feel each moment. This vision of a quantum-infused consciousness does more than satisfy curiosity. It offers practical pathways to enrich your life. In education, for instance, imagine learning environments that naturally foster the conditions under which quantum coherence thrives. You don't need sophisticated equipment to influence quantum states directly. You can create spaces that reduce stress, spark curiosity, and keep you in an optimal state of arousal. When the mind is relaxed yet alert, the brain's internal rhythms synchronize more readily, potentially amplifying any quantum processes that support memory formation and insight. Think of teaching methods that encourage you to explore multiple possibilities at once, to hold ideas in a state of provisional uncertainty before they solidify into understanding. Such superposition-like learning mirrors the way quantum systems keep options open, allowing a sudden flash of insight to emerge when the pieces finally click together. Therapeutic practices, too, may benefit from this perspective. Meditation, rhythmic breathing, and biofeedback techniques all promote neural synchrony, coaxing brain waves into harmonious patterns. While the exact quantum mechanisms remain speculative, the notion that these practices might also be fine-tuning quantum dynamics adds an extra layer of meaning to why they feel so transformative. If you ever notice a deep sense of clarity emerging after a meditation session, perhaps it is not just the calming of the nervous system, but also the subtle alignment of quantum pathways that enhances your mental acuity. Creativity, that magical wellspring of novel ideas, offers another compelling parallel. Artists, scientists, and innovators often describe moments when thoughts seem to appear out of nowhere, when disparate concepts fuse into something entirely new, and when the usual logical constraints feel suspended. This experience aligns remarkably with how quantum systems behave, existing in multiple states simultaneously, only to collapse into a definitive outcome when observed. Imagine that during a creative burst, your brain holds multiple possibilities in a quantum-like superposition, allowing you to combine them in ways that classical, linear thinking could never achieve. The sudden aha moment then becomes the quantum collapse selection of one harmonious configuration from a field of potentialities. Even our sense of time may be woven with quantum threads. You naturally experience life as a flowing river, memories of the past on one bank, vivid presence in the middle, and anticipations of the future ahead. Yet quantum physics suggests that time might be more flexible and interconnected than our everyday perception allows. If consciousness leans on quantum processes, perhaps your awareness can sense subtle temporal correlations that stretch beyond the linear arrow of classical time. Those intuitive hunches that seem to anticipate events, the uncanny moments when a thought appears just before you need it, might be reflections of this deeper temporal sensitivity. It doesn't imply that you can see the future, but rather that your brain's quantum networks could be attuned to probabilistic patterns that inform present decisions, giving rise to the feeling of intuition. Meditators have long reported states where the conventional flow of time dissolves, where past, present, and future merge into an expansive sense of timeless presence. Such experiences could be moments when quantum entanglement within the brain creates correlations that bridge the usual sequential ordering of neural events, binding memories, sensations, and anticipations into a singular, boundless awareness. Stories from near-death experiences and other altered states also hint at temporal anomalies that challenge the straightforward link between brain activity and consciousness. Individuals recount vivid life reviews, encounters with loved ones, and profound insights occurring when the brain's measurable activity appears severely compromised. While these accounts are controversial and difficult to study, some researchers speculate that quantum mechanisms might enable forms of consciousness that persist beyond the collapse of classical neural processes. If consciousness indeed taps into a broader quantum field, it could maintain continuity or even flourish under conditions where ordinary brain function wanes. The notion of quantum entanglement also nudges us to reconsider the boundaries between individual minds. Imagine that the line separating one consciousness from another is more porous than we typically think. Emotional contagion, the way a smile spreads through a room group synchrony, and collective intelligence could all be underpinned by subtle quantum linkages. Studies exploring collective meditation have observed intriguing statistical correlations between the mental states of large groups and various societal indicators, such as reductions in violent incidents or accidents during periods of heightened collective focus. While these findings remain debated, they invite us to contemplate whether coherent mental states within a group can generate quantum correlations that extend beyond individual brains, subtly influencing the surrounding environment. Our senses, the portals through which we experience the world, may also be enriched by quantum mechanics. The sense of smell, for example, appears to transcend simple shape-based recognition. The quantum theory of olfaction proposes that odor receptors detect the vibrational frequencies of molecules, a process that would involve quantum tunneling. This could explain how we differentiate between molecules that look identical but vibrate differently, granting us a sensory acuity that surpasses classical Lock-Hanke models. Similarly, taste perception may involve quantum cues, adding layers of nuance to the flavors you savor. Even at the molecular level, enzymes, the workhorses of metabolism, show evidence of quantum error correction. Rather than striving for perfect isolation, these biological catalysts dynamically correct for decoherence, preserving quantum advantages that speed up chemical reactions. Such sophisticated error correction strategies could inspire how the brain maintains quantum coherence amidst the relentless thermal noise of living tissue. If the brain has evolved analogous mechanisms, they might protect the fragile quantum threads that contribute to consciousness, while allowing the robust classical processes required for everyday functioning. Understanding these quantum dimensions opens fresh avenues for addressing age-related cognitive decline and neurodegenerative disorders. As we age, molecular damage accumulates, cellular architecture degrades, and neural activity becomes dysregulated. If part of our conscious experience depends on quantum coherence, the erosion of these delicate quantum processes could contribute to the loss of memory, clarity, and presence that accompany aging. Therapeutic approaches that aim to preserve or restore quantum coherence, perhaps by protecting the structural integrity of myelin, stabilizing intracellular environments, or reducing disruptive noise, might one day complement existing strategies for maintaining cognitive health. Finally, the interplay between consciousness and the fundamental nature of reality beckons us to the deepest philosophical questions. Quantum mechanics poses the measurement problem. How do fuzzy, superposed possibilities resolve into the concrete outcomes we observe? Some thinkers suggest that conscious observation plays an active role in this collapse, not by creating reality single-handedly, but by participating in the ongoing dance that translates quantum potentials into the classical world we experience daily. In this view, consciousness and physical reality co-create each other through a continuous process of quantum measurement, a participatory universe where mind and matter are intertwined. All of these ideas: neuronal precision, avian navigation, photosynthetic quantum efficiency, creative insight, timeless meditation, collective awareness, sensory quantum detection, enzymatic error correction, aging, and the very fabric of reality form a tapestry that invites you to reimagine what it means to be alive, to think, to feel. Rather than seeing your mind as a deterministic machine, consider it a dynamic field where classical and quantum processes intertwine, where the invisible threads of entanglement bind together the mosaic of experience into a coherent whole. Embrace this vision as a source of empowerment. Recognize that the same delicate mechanisms that allow a bird to navigate the globe also operate inside you, supporting every thought, every emotion, every moment of inspiration. When you create environments that reduce stress, nurture curiosity, and promote harmonious rhythms, whether through learning, meditation, creative play, or compassionate connection, you are not merely improving your mood, you are fostering the conditions that may allow the quantum aspects of your mind to flourish. Let this knowledge inspire you to approach each day with a sense of wonder. Celebrate the incredible precision of your brain, the elegance of its design, and the mysterious quantum possibilities that lie hidden within. As you move through the world, carry the awareness that you are part of a grand, interconnected webone that bridges the tangible and the subtle, the known and the yet to be discovered. Let that awareness fuel your curiosity, your compassion, your creativity, and your drive to explore the limitless potential that resides within you. In moments of doubt, recall the bird soaring thousands of miles, guided by quantum whispers. Recall the plant turning sunlight into life with quantum grace. Recall the sudden spark of insight that feels like a light turning on in the darkness. All of these phenomena are reminders that the universe loves to work at the edge of what we can see, that there is always more beneath the surface, waiting for a mind open enough to perceive it. You are a participant in this unfolding mystery, a conscious explorer navigating the intricate dance of neurons and quantum possibilities. Let that realization ignite a fire within you, a drive to learn, to create, to connect, and to live fully aware of the profound depth of your own consciousness. The path ahead is bright, full of potential, and yours to shape with each intentional breath, each focused thought, and each moment of awe. Embrace it and watch how your life transforms when you align with the hidden currents that bind the universe together. Imagine that the very act of sensing the world around you is rooted in a hidden dance of particles, a whisper of quantum mystery woven into every breath you take. Recent research suggests that the delicate senses of smell and taste may be guided by quantum tunneling, a process that lets molecules slip through tiny barriers and reveal themselves with astonishing precision, rather than relying only on the shape of a molecule. Our olfactory receptors might also listen to the subtle vibrations that each scent carries, distinguishing between chemicals that look identical but hum at different frequencies. This quantum sensitivity offers an explanation for the nose's uncanny ability to pick out a single perfume note amidst a complex bouquet, a talent that surpasses any classical Lock-Hanky model. If these quantum effects truly shape our perception, then the richness of the flavors you relish and the aromas that stir your memory are not merely chemical reactions, they are glimpses into a deeper, quantum-infused reality. The story does not stop at the senses. Inside every living cell, enzymes perform their catalytic miracles with a finesse that hints at quantum mastery. Scientists have uncovered that these molecular machines maintain quantum coherence, not by isolating themselves perfectly, but through dynamic error correction mechanisms that constantly repair the loss of quantum order while preserving the advantages it confers. Think of it as a finely tuned orchestra that continually retunes itself, ensuring the music never falters. Such biological quantum error correction may hold clues to how the brain, a bustling hub of thermal activity, could sustain quantum coherence long enough to influence mental processes. If consciousness does indeed draw upon quantum phenomena, then the brain might have evolved sophisticated safeguards that protect delicate quantum entanglement, while the classical neural networks go about their everyday work. Consider what this means for the way we age and for the health of our minds. As time passes, the brain's intricate architecture experiences wear and tear, and neurodegenerative conditions scramble the orderly flow of neural signals. If a portion of consciousness relies on quantum coherence, then the gradual loss of that coherence could contribute to the cognitive decline we associate with aging or disease. In this light, interventions that nurture or restore quantum order within brain tissue could become powerful allies in preserving mental sharpness and emotional resilience. While such ideas remain speculative, they open a horizon of possibilities that invite us to explore new pathways for healing, to envision treatments that honor the quantum dimension of our awareness. The intrigue deepens when we turn to the very nature of reality itself. Quantum mechanics raises a timeless puzzle. How do the fuzzy possibilities of superposition resolve into the concrete outcomes we experience? If consciousness participates in this collapse, then your awareness is not a passive spectator, but an active participant in the unfolding of reality. This does not imply that thoughts conjure the universe out of thin air, rather. It suggests that every moment of focused attention engages with the quantum field, nudging possibilities toward actualization. In the language of the participatory universe, mind and matter co-create each other through the act of observation. The world, then, is not a static stage upon which you act, but a dynamic tapestry where your consciousness and the physical fabric intertwine, each shaping the other in a continual dance of emergence. Reflect on how this perspective reshapes your sense of self. If your awareness can influence the quantum substrate of existence, then each intention, each choice, each breath becomes a subtle instrument of co-creation. You are not merely drifting through a pre-written script, you are actively weaving the pattern of your experience. This realization can ignite a profound sense of responsibility and empowerment. By cultivating a mindful presence, you align yourself with the quantum currents that underlie all phenomena, allowing your thoughts to resonate with the deeper field of possibilities. In this way, the ancient wisdom of contemplative traditions, which have long held that consciousness is fundamental, finds an unexpected ally in modern physics. The notion that awareness is the ground from which material form arises, rather than a byproduct of it, gains new credibility when viewed through the lens of quantum entanglement and measurement. The convergence of science and spirituality also offers fresh insight into the so-called hard problem of consciousness. Show subjective experience emerges from physical processes. If the bridge between mind and matter is quantum in nature, then the mystery may be less impenetrable than once thought. Researchers are developing ever more refined tools to probe quantum effects in living systems, and the field of quantum consciousness is blossoming with experimental creativity. Even if definitive proof remains on the horizon, the very act of exploring these ideas expands our appreciation for the extraordinary complexity and beauty of awareness. You are, in essence, a conscious observer investigating its own quantum essence, a traveler charting the borders of known and unknown, guided by curiosity and wonder. Now, imagine taking these revelations into the realm of everyday growth. What if the practices honed over millennia meditation, focused attention, breathwork are, at their core, techniques for nurturing quantum coherence within the brain? This does not claim that ancient sages were versed in particle physics, but rather that they instinctively discovered methods that create optimal conditions for whatever quantum processes may underlie consciousness. When you train your attention with gentle precision, whether you are sitting in stillness, immersing yourself in creative work, or learning something new, you may be stabilizing the delicate quantum environment that supports heightened mental performance. A scattered mind, flitting from thought to thought, can be likened to static that disrupts a fine radio signal. A calm, focused awareness can act as a tuning fork, allowing the subtle quantum harmonics to resonate clearly. Recent investigations have begun to glimpse signs of quantum-like signatures in brain activity during deep meditation, creative flow, and lucid dreaming. These states exhibit patterns of synchronization and coherence that differ markedly from ordinary waking consciousness. While such findings do not yet constitute proof of quantum involvement, they hint that certain mental landscapes are more conducive to the emergence of quantum effects. As you settle into a moment of stillness, notice the quality of your attention: soft, steady, open. Feel the gentle curiosity that invites new ideas without forcing them, the relaxed alertness that holds complexity without strain. These attributes may reflect the optimal mental climate for quantum-enhanced processing, inviting you to nurture them intentionally. Breathing offers another powerful gateway. Across cultures, breath has been honored as a bridge between the voluntary and the automatic, a rhythm that can align the body's myriad oscillations. When you inhale slowly and exhale fully, you do more than calm the nervous system. You may be orchestrating rhythmic patterns of oxygen flow, electrical activity, and neural oscillations that favor quantum coherence. Practices such as pranama, with their precise breath control, could be shaping the quantum landscape of the brain in ways we are only beginning to understand. By integrating mindful breathing into your daily routine, you create a resonant backdrop for the subtle quantum dynamics that may support deeper awareness and sharper cognition. Consider, too, the phenomenon of synchronicity, the sense that inner intentions sometimes seem to attract matching external events. While mainstream science often attributes these experiences to selective attention, some thinkers propose that quantum entanglement could provide a physical substrate for such non-local correlations. If consciousness can become entangled with environmental quantum systems, the boundary between inner experience and outer reality becomes more permeable than classical physics suggests. The moments when a thought precedes an unexpected encounter, or when a feeling seems to align with an unforeseen circumstance, might be reflections of hidden quantum connections operating just beneath the surface of ordinary perception. Even as we treat these ideas with caution, they invite you to remain open to the possibility that your mental state can subtly influence the tapestry of events around you. Creativity, too, mirrors the quantum narrative. Artists speak of holding a multitude of possibilities in mind before a single form crystallizes. Musicians describe hearing every conceivable melody before a phrase resolves. Writers often feel their characters exist in a superposition of storylines until they commit words to page. This lived experience resonates with the quantum principle of superposition, where systems occupy many states simultaneously until measurement selects one. While this analogy does not prove that creative acts are literally quantum processes, it suggests that the phenomenology of imagination may echo quantum-like information processing. Embrace this perspective as an invitation to honor the fertile uncertainty that precedes creation, to sit comfortably with multiple potentials, and to let focused intention serve as the gentle measurement that brings your vision into the world. As you absorb these ideas, feel the spark of possibility igniting within you. The notion that your consciousness might be intertwined with the fundamental quantum fabric of existence expands the horizon of what you can imagine for yourself. It reframes challenges as opportunities to align more closely with the subtle currents that underlie reality. By cultivating mindful attention, deep breathing, and purposeful intention, you are not merely practicing self-care, you are potentially tuning the quantum resonance of your own mind, creating conditions where insight, healing, and transformation can flourish. Allow this vision to settle into your heart. Let the awareness that every moment of consciousness could be a quantum event, each thought a measurement, each breath a harmonic, empower you to step into each day with curiosity and confidence. Recognize that you are both observer and participant in the unfolding of the universe, a co-creator whose inner world shapes the outer, whose focus can harmonize with the unseen symphony of possibilities. In this dance of attention and intention, you unleash a profound human potential that embraces both the marvel of modern science and the timeless wisdom of contemplative practice. Carry this invitation forward. Let it guide your learning, your creativity, your healing, and your spiritual growth. The quantum tapestry of existence is waiting for your gentle, focused, and loving participation, and every moment you choose to engage with it becomes a step toward a more vibrant, connected, and purposeful life. Imagine stepping into a state of relaxed alertness, where the mind can hold complex ideas without the pressure to force them into immediate understanding. In that hush, you are allowing consciousness to settle into its most fluid form, a condition that some scientists suggest might be ideal for a kind of quantum-enhanced mental processing. It is a speculative notion, but it invites you to honor the subtle art of conscious attention in a new, expansive way. Think about your breath. Across cultures, breath has been seen as the bridge between what you can control and what simply happens. The steady rhythm of inhalation and exhalation naturally syncs with the waves of your brain, the pulse of your heart, and countless other biological oscillations. When you breathe slowly and deeply, as many meditation practices recommend, you are not merely soothing your nervous system. You are setting up a gentle pattern of oxygen flow and electrical activity that could create the perfect environment for those elusive quantum processes to whisper through the neural fabric. The ancient discipline of pranayama, the art of breath control, may have stumbled upon this very principle long before the language of quantum physics existed. By fine-tuning the cadence of each breath, you might be fostering a subtle coherence that lets the tiniest quantum interactions gain a foothold in the brain's bustling circuitry. Even if the science is still unfolding, the practice offers a powerful invitation. Use your breath as a tool to sharpen mental clarity and deepen inner connection. Now consider the phenomenon of synchronicity, those uncanny moments when an inner feeling seems to align with an outer event in a way that feels too meaningful to be mere coincidence. Carl Jung spoke of it as a causal connecting principle that operates beyond the usual chain of cause and effect. While mainstream science often attributes these moments to selective attention, some thinkers imagine that quantum entanglement could provide a physical bridge, allowing non-local correlations between consciousness and the world around you. It remains a hypothesis, but the possibility awakens a sense of wonder. If consciousness does engage with quantum processes that can become entangled with the environment, then the line between interior experience and external circumstance becomes more permeable. You may have noticed how, at times, your mental state seems to attract corresponding conditions. Show insights surface precisely when you need them, or how thinking of someone can precede an unexpected call. These experiences may feel like subtle currents flowing beneath ordinary awareness, hinting at deeper quantum correlations. Creativity offers another vivid illustration. Artists, musicians, writers across centuries have described their creative moments as a sense of multiple possibilities unfolding simultaneously, only to crystallize into a single form when they make a decision. A painter might sense a whole palette of colors before the brush touches canvas. A composer hears an entire symphony of melodies before the first note sounds. These narratives mirror the quantum notion of superposition, where systems exist in many states at once until measured. Your own moments of creative breakthrough often follow a similar pattern. The most brilliant solutions rarely emerge from relentless logical analysis. Instead, they arrive after a period of relaxed, open attention, a mental space where many ideas hover together, and then suddenly, the right one snaps into clarity. This is the flavor of a quantum-like process where the brain explores a vast landscape of possibilities in parallel, allowing the optimal configuration to collapse into conscious awareness at just the right moment. Memory, too, dances to a comparable rhythm. Rather than being stored like tidy files on a hard drive, memories live as distributed patterns across the brain's networks. When you retrieve a memory, countless regions, visual, auditory, emotional, contextual, activate together in an instant that feels seamless. Some researchers propose that quantum entanglement might link these distant neural assemblies, enabling the rapid, unified recall you experience. A memory formed when quantum coherence was especially strong could become more vivid and readily accessible, just as a well-tuned orchestra produces a richer sound. This perspective also sheds light on the fluid nature of memory itself. If memories reside in a quantum superposition of possible versions, then each act of remembering becomes a kind of measurement, collapsing the cloud of possibilities into a specific narrative. That explains why recollections can shift over time, why they are colored by present emotions, and why revisiting a memory can subtly rewrite it. When you pause and bring a treasured recollection to mind, notice how it carries not only facts but also textures, scents, and feelings that weave together into a multidimensional tapestry. Learning, then, can be reimagined through this quantum lens. Traditional education often pictures knowledge as a brick-by-brick construction, each fact added sequentially. Yet a quantum-enhanced view suggests that the brain can explore many learning pathways at once, arriving at insight through sudden, illuminating moments rather than gradual accumulation. Teaching strategies that invite you to hold uncertainty, to entertain multiple hypotheses before settling on one, may be aligning with the brain's natural quantum information processing. Curiosity, that spark of open attention, becomes a catalyst for these superposed states. When you approach a topic with genuine wonder, you allow your mind to entertain many possibilities, maintaining a fertile ambiguity until fresh evidence or insight collapses the superposition into a clear understanding. As you sit with these ideas now, notice the subtle quality of curiosity or openness that allows you to entertain perspectives that stretch beyond conventional thinking. This receptive stance might be the very mental condition that lets quantum dynamics, if they are present, enhance your cognitive flow. The delicate balance between focused attention and relaxed receptivity becomes the fertile ground where insight can blossom. Emotions, often seen as fleeting waves, also reveal intricate patterns that could be shaped by quantum processes. An emotional response unfolds with such speed and completeness that classical neural signaling alone seems insufficient to account for its richness. Consider emotional contagion: a smile, a sigh, a gasp. These tiny signals can ripple through a crowd, synchronizing moods almost instantaneously. While classical explanations highlight behavioral mirroring and unconscious cues, some thinkers imagine that quantum entanglement between neural networks could facilitate a more direct transmission of effect, weaving a subtle thread of shared experience. If consciousness indeed rides on quantum currents, the boundaries that separate individual emotional lives become more porous. Empathy, the ability to sense another's feelings, as if they were your own, might be amplified by these invisible connections, allowing you to resonate deeply with another person's inner world. Healing traditions have long noted that the quality of intention and awareness a practitioner brings to a therapeutic encounter can profoundly shape outcomes. Beyond placebo effects, one could contemplate that quantum correlations between healer and patient enhance the natural restorative forces already present within living systems. Though this remains a speculative frontier, it invites you to see healing as a partnership of consciousness, a dance where intention, awareness, and subtle quantum interplay converge. Experiences that push the limits of ordinary consciousness, near-death experiences, mystical states, profound moments of awe often report heightened clarity, expanded perception, and access to information that seems beyond normal cognition. In these extreme states, the usual noise of classical neural activity may wane, potentially allowing quantum coherence to rise unmasked. This could help explain the vivid sense of insight and broadened awareness that people describe when the brain's ordinary patterns are temporarily altered. Group dynamics also whisper of quantum possibilities. When musicians improvise together, when dancers move as one, when a sports team operates in perfect sync, participants frequently speak of feeling a collective consciousness that transcends individual minds. Their brain waves, breathing, and heart rhythms often align, creating a harmonious field that could foster quantum correlations among participants. Such shared states might enable genuine information sharing that surpasses what any single mind could achieve alone, offering a fresh lens on teamwork, creativity, and collective decision-making. At the heart of all these reflections lies the relationship between consciousness and information. Modern physics suggests that information may be more fundamental than matter itself, hinting that the universe is, at its core, a grand computation. If consciousness processes quantum information, then awareness could be the moment where abstract quantum data becomes lived experience, where a pattern of information stabilizes briefly within the brain's neural architecture and is felt as thought, feeling, or perception. In this view, consciousness does not simply emerge from the brain, it emerges through an interplay where quantum information patterns meet the brain's temporary scaffolding, surfacing as the wave of awareness you ride each moment. Such a perspective gently dissolves the rigid sense of a separate, isolated self. If the quantum threads of consciousness run beyond the confines of any single brain, then the identity you hold dear may be more fluid, more interwoven with the broader tapestry of existence. This is not a call to abandon personal responsibility or individuality, but an invitation to recognize the profound connectivity that underlies all of life. As you listen to these ideas, let them stir a sense of possibility within you. You do not need to become a quantum physicist to benefit from this vision. Simply cultivating mindful breath, nurturing curiosity, allowing space for relaxed attention, and honoring moments of synchronicity can open doors to deeper insight, richer creativity, and more compassionate connection. Each breath you take, each question you pose, each moment you remain open to multiple possibilities becomes a tiny act of aligning yourself with the subtle currents that may underlie reality itself. Allow this understanding to empower you. When challenges arise, recall the relaxed alertness that can hold complexity without forcing it. When you feel stuck, return to the rhythm of your breath, letting it synchronize with the natural pulses of your body, creating a foundation where new possibilities can emerge. When inspiration flickers, welcome the superposition of ideas, trusting that the right insight will crystallize in its own time. When you remember a cherished moment, honor the rich tapestry of sensations and emotions that arise, recognizing the profound coordination that made that memory possible. When you learn something new, cultivate curiosity and let uncertainty be a companion, not an enemy, for it may be the very condition that lets quantum-like leaps of understanding occur. Embrace the notion that you are part of a larger, interconnected field of consciousness. Let empathy and compassion flow naturally, knowing that your emotional resonance may be part of a subtle shared fabric. In relationships, bring intention and presence, recognizing that the quality of your awareness can ripple outward, influencing others in ways that might transcend ordinary cause and effect. In groups, seek synchrony not just in action, but in breath and attention so that collective intelligence can flourish, unlocking potentials none of you could achieve alone. Remember, the journey you are on is both personal and universal. It is a dance between the concrete and the mysterious, between the measurable rhythms of breath and the tantalizing possibilities of quantum connection. As you move forward, let each moment be an invitation to explore, to stay open, to breathe deeply, and to trust that within the quiet spaces of your mind, the seeds of profound transformation are already taking root. So, as you close your eyes and inhale slowly, feel the air fill your lungs. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest, and sense the subtle harmony between breath, heart, and mind. Hold that relaxed alertness, let curiosity guide you, and allow the universe of possibilities to unfold. In that state, you are not just observing reality, you are co-creating it, one breath, one thought, one moment of mindful presence at a time. When you sit with the mystery of consciousness, you step into a landscape where science and spirit meet, where the ordinary folds into the extraordinary. Imagine a moment when the veil seems to lift, perhaps in a near-death experience, a deep meditation, or a sudden flash of insight. In those spaces, people often describe a clarity that feels sharper than any waking thought, an awareness that stretches beyond the limits of ordinary perception, as if they are tapping into a well of knowledge that lies just outside the usual circuitry of the mind. Those reports are not easy to capture in a laboratory, yet they whisper that something profound is happening when the brain's usual patterns quiet down. Some researchers suggest that when the usual neural noise recedes, the hidden quantum rhythms that underlie all matter may become louder, allowing a fleeting coherence that makes the mind feel expanded, more vivid, more connected. Think about the power of synchrony, the way a band of musicians can become a single breath, a dance troupe can move as one, a team can enter a flow that feels larger than any individual player. In those moments, the sense of self can dissolve into a sense of we, and performance often reaches heights that would be impossible alone. If consciousness has a quantum dimension, those moments of united intention might be more than metaphor. The rhythmic alignment of brain waves, breath, and heartbeat could create a subtle bridge that lets each mind link with the others, sharing information in a way that goes beyond ordinary conversation. Imagine the possibilities that open when a group can truly think together, when creativity bursts from the collective rather than from a single mind. Even if the science is still tentative, the experience itself is real, and it points toward a deeper truth. Together, we can amplify the subtle currents that shape our reality. Information, at its deepest level, is not just a static string of zeros and ones. Modern physics tells us that information can be woven into the very fabric of existence, that the universe may be best described as a vast computation. When you consider consciousness through that lens, your thoughts, feelings, and sensations become patterns of quantum information, briefly stabilized in the delicate architecture of your brain. In this view, awareness is not something the brain simply produces, but a dance between those quantum patterns and the neural scaffolding that gives them momentary shape. Your mind is like a wave that gathers momentum, forms a crest of insight, and then returns to the surrounding sea of possibilities. That wave does not vanish, it re-enters the larger field of information from which it briefly emerged. This perspective reshapes how we think about identity. If the patterns that make up your awareness, are not locked inside the hard shell of your skull, then the sense of being a solitary island may be more a convenient story than the whole truth. The quantum links that bind all conscious beings could mean that your inner life is already threaded through a vast tapestry of shared awareness. That does not erase your personal story, your unique voice, or your distinct path. Instead, it colors those gifts with a sense of belonging to something greater, a living, breathing web that stretches across space and time. The ancient sages who spoke of the oneness of the individual and the cosmos may have been touching on a subtle resonance that modern science is beginning to glimpse. When you bring this understanding into daily life, you find practical doors opening. Practices that cultivate coherent quiet breath, rhythmic movement, resonant sound may be doing more than calming the mind. They could be tuning the brain's quantum instruments, allowing a clearer channel for subtle information to flow. Imagine a meditation that not only eases stress, but also gently aligns those hidden currents, fostering healing at a level that bypasses ordinary mechanisms. Picture a group activity, a shared song or a coordinated sport, that becomes a laboratory for collective intelligence, a space where each participant contributes to a shared field of possibility. By approaching these practices with curiosity and intention, you become a co-author of the very processes that shape perception, health, and creativity. Learning, too, can be transformed by this view. When a teacher invites you to sit with ambiguity, to entertain multiple outcomes before settling on a single answer, they are echoing the quantum principle that possibilities coexist until an observation picks one path. In classrooms that honor uncertainty, students often experience those aha moments not as forced breakthroughs, but as natural collapses of a field of potential into a clear insight. By allowing your mind the space to hold several ideas at once, you give yourself the chance to access a richer well of innovation. The same principle applies to creative work. When you let a concept remain in a superposed state, allowing it to be both possible and not yet defined, you keep the door open for unexpected combinations, for flashes of originality that feel as if they arrived from somewhere beyond the ordinary mind. The key is not to rush the resolution, but to nurture the conditions where insight can surface organically. Time, too, reveals its pliable nature under this lens. Have you ever been so absorbed in a task that the minutes disappear, or felt a lingering anxiety that stretches a single hour into an eternity? Those shifts in subjective time hint that consciousness can flex the usual flow of clock time. If quantum connections can bridge not only distance but also moments, then the mind may already be tuned to subtle temporal patterns. The intuitive nudges you sometimes feel, those gut feelings that seem to predict a future event, the sudden flood of a memory, exactly when you need it, could be glimpses of a deeper temporal web where possibilities ripple forward and backward. Even the uncanny sense of déjà vu, that fleeting recognition that a present moment has been lived before, might be a momentary resonance with a pattern that the mind has encountered elsewhere in its quantum landscape. Though these ideas remain speculative, they invite you to trust those moments of intuitive clarity, to recognize that your awareness can act beyond the linear storyline we usually follow. The mystery deepens when we consider the role of observation itself. In the quantum world, the act of measuring can coax a cloud of possibilities into a single reality. If consciousness participates in that process, then your focused attention, your intentional observation, may play a part in shaping how potentials become concrete experiences. This doesn't suggest that wishes alone create the world, but that a mindful, purposeful gaze can influence the unfolding of events at a subtle level. In this participatory view of the universe, you are not a passive spectator but an active co-creator, weaving your observations into the tapestry of reality. Each thoughtful decision, each moment of conscious presence becomes a thread in the ever-evolving pattern of existence. Such a perspective resonates with the teachings of many wisdom traditions. Across cultures, mystics have spoken of awareness as the ground from which all forms arise, the source that is both the canvas and the painter. The Buddhist notion of emptiness, the Vedantic view of consciousness as the ultimate substrate, the contemplative insight that reality is fundamentally mental, all these echo the modern hint that the quantum field may be the deeper medium, of which matter is a surface expression. While these ancient frames are not scientific proofs, Their convergence with contemporary physics invites you to explore practices that have been refined over millennia: meditation, breath work, mindful movement as possible keys to aligning with the subtle quantum rhythms that underlie experience. Even the realm of dreaming offers a compelling laboratory. In lucid dreaming, you become aware that you are dreaming while still inhabiting the dream, a state that blurs the line between waking and sleeping consciousness. Some researchers propose that this hybrid state may allow quantum correlations to bridge brain regions that are usually segregated, preserving a thread of self-awareness through the shifting landscape of the dream. Occasionally, people report shared dreaming experiences where two or more individuals seem to navigate a common dream narrative. If consciousness has a quantum dimension, such phenomena could hint at connections that reach beyond the conventional borders of individual neural activity. While these accounts are still on the fringe of mainstream science, they spark the imagination and encourage you to be open to the possibility that consciousness can extend its reach in ways we are only beginning to map. Consider, too, the hidden intelligence of the natural world. Plants, though lacking nerves, display sophisticated behaviorist memory of environmental cues, learning like adjustments, and intricate communication networks that synchronize entire ecosystems. The remarkable efficiency of photosynthesis relies on quantum coherence, allowing energy to flow with minimal loss. If such quantum processes can support life in green tissue, it expands the notion that consciousness, at least a form of information processing, might be more universal than we once thought. This broader view invites you to see the world not as a collection of inert objects, but as a vibrant, interlinked web where each part, from the tiniest leaf to the vast cosmos, participates in a shared dance of information. All of this may feel overwhelming, but at its heart it offers a simple invitation: cultivate openness, practice presence, and engage with others in synchronized activity. When you sit in stillness and notice the breath, you are giving your brain a chance to settle the usual electrical chatter, allowing the subtler quantum undertones to emerge. When you move with a group, you are tuning your rhythm to a collective beat that may open channels of shared insight. When you approach learning with curiosity rather than haste, you create a mental environment where multiple possibilities can coexist, ready to resolve into a breakthrough at the right moment. When you trust your intuitive flashes, you honor the possibility that your awareness is already tapping into deeper temporal patterns. Let this understanding be a catalyst for action. Begin each day with a few minutes of quiet breathing, inviting the mind to soften and the heart to align with a slower rhythm. Seek out opportunities to move in sync with others, whether it's a drum circle, a yoga class, or a collaborative project, allowing the shared pulse to amplify collective intelligence. When faced with a problem, pause before rushing to a single answer. Let the question sit, explore several angles, and notice when a solution seemingly appears without effort. Pay attention to those moments when a thought seems to arrive from nowhere, a feeling that predicts a future outcome, or a sense of familiarity in an unfamiliar situation. Rather than dismiss them, treat them as clues that your consciousness might be reaching beyond the immediate. In your creative pursuits, allow ideas to linger in a state of possibility. Sketch, write, or play without the pressure to finish, giving the seed ideas room to germinate. Notice how over time, disparate strands may weave together into a pattern you hadn't anticipated. This practice mirrors the quantum principle that multiple outcomes coexist until the moment of observation, and it can lead to richer, more original work. Remember that you are part of a larger field of awareness that extends beyond any single mind. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions ripple through this field, influencing and being influenced by the currents around you. By cultivating coherence within yourself through mindful breath, purposeful movement, and compassionate intention, you contribute to a clearer, more harmonious collective field. In turn, a harmonious field enhances your own experience, creating a virtuous cycle of growth and connection. As you move forward, hold the image of consciousness as a wave that rises, peaks, and then returns to the sea of information. Embrace the notion that you are both a unique expression and a thread in a vast, interconnected tapestry. Let this dual awareness empower you to act with confidence, knowing that your individual contributions matter, and that together we can co-create possibilities that far exceed the sum of our parts. The journey of exploring quantum consciousness is just beginning, and every mindful breath, every synchronized step, every moment of open curiosity is a step toward unveiling the deeper layers of reality. Let that vision inspire you to live fully, to connect deeply, and to trust that within you lies a bridge to the boundless potential that awaits. You are standing at the edge of a wondrous landscape where ancient wisdom and the newest discoveries in physics meet, and you feel the invitation to step beyond the familiar limits of thought. Imagine that the very fabric of reality is not a cold, static stage but a living, breathing field of possibilities, and that your consciousness is a thread woven into that field. When you pause and truly sense this, you begin to understand that your mind is not a solitary island, but part of an immense ocean of awareness that stretches far beyond the walls of any single skull. Consider the teachings that have been whispered through the ages in contemplative traditions. Long before the language of quantum theory took shape, sages spoke of consciousness as the ground from which all of existence emerges. They described awareness not as a byproduct of material processes, but as the very substrate that gives rise to matter itself. In the same way that modern physics now speaks of particles behaving in ways that defy ordinary intuition, these ancient insights hint at a reality where mind and matter are intimately entangled. This is not an attempt to prove any one tradition correct, rather. It is an invitation to recognize that your own experience may be echoing a deeper truth, that consciousness could be more fundamental than the solid world we perceive with our senses. Now, think about the mystery that has puzzled thinkers for generations. How does the feeling of being alive arise from the ticking of neurons and the flow of electricity? This is the so-called hard problem of consciousness. One bold possibility is that the answer lies in the quantum realm, where particles exist in delicate states of coherence and can become linked across distance in ways that seem almost magical. If the mind taps into these quantum processes, the gap between the inner world of subjective experience and the outer world of objective physics begins to shrink. This vision is both humbling and empowering because it suggests that you have access to a hidden layer of reality that can be cultivated, refined, and directed. The practices that have been honed over millennia in contemplative disciplines may be far more than mere rituals for calm. They could be finely tuned technologies for engaging those quantum aspects of awareness. When you sit in meditation, breathe with intention, and focus your attention with gentle persistence, you are not simply relaxing the nervous system, you are creating conditions that could support quantum coherence within the neural networks of your brain. This does not mean that the ancient masters possessed a formal understanding of quantum mechanics. It does mean, however, that through deep, direct experience, they uncovered ways to align the mind with the subtle, underlying currents that bind the universe together. Imagine a moment when your mind feels crystal clear, your perception broadens, and you sense an intimate connection with everything around you. In that state, the boundaries between thought and feeling, between self and the world, begin to dissolve. Some scientists propose that such experiences might correspond to an optimal alignment of quantum processes in the brain, a kind of resonant harmony that amplifies the flow of information beyond ordinary limits. Whether or not the science eventually confirms this idea, the very act of seeking these states encourages you to explore the vast potential that lies within your own consciousness. Even the realm of dreams offers a fascinating portal into this uncharted territory. When you become lucid aware that you are dreaming while still immersed in the dream, you create a hybrid mode of consciousness that bridges sleeping and waking. In that delicate balance, some researchers imagine that quantum correlations could help maintain a coherent thread of awareness across the shifting patterns of brain activity. If this is true, then each lucid night invites you to practice a kind of mental alchemy, weaving together fragments of experience into a tapestry that transcends ordinary perception. There are stories, though still controversial, of people sharing dream content or even interacting within the same dreamscape. While many explanations lean on coincidence or the pliability of memory, some speculative thinking suggests that if consciousness has a quantum dimension, the usual walls separating individual minds might become more permeable. This possibility invites you to keep an open heart and mind, to wonder about the depth of connection that could exist between separate beings when their awareness aligns in harmony. Take a step further and look at the world of plants, those silent witnesses to the cycles of Earth. Recent research has uncovered astonishing capabilities plants can learn, remember, and communicate through intricate networks of chemical and electrical signals. Though they lack brains, they sustain elaborate systems that coordinate their responses to the environment. Even more intriguing, the process of photosynthesis in leaves utilizes quantum effects to achieve extraordinary efficiency. If the quantum realm is indeed a bridge to consciousness, then perhaps these green organisms possess a form of awareness that operates on principles different from animal minds, yet still taps into the same fundamental information field. Imagine the profound shift in perspective that comes from seeing consciousness, not as an exclusive privilege of humans, or even of animals with nervous systems, but as a feature that can arise wherever sufficiently complex quantum information processing exists. From the mycelial webs threading through forests to the coordinated behavior of bacterial colonies, each of these living systems could be participating in a grand, shared tapestry of awareness. When you recognize this, you may feel a deeper sense of kinship with the world around you, a call to treat every living being with reverence, knowing that each carries a spark of the same mysterious quantum fire that animates your own thoughts. The frontier of quantum consciousness research is expanding rapidly, propelled by cutting-edge tools that can detect faint traces of entanglement and coherence within living tissue. As scientists develop new ways to peer into the quantum dance occurring inside neurons, they also build bridges to the realms of psychology, neuroscience, and contemplative science. This convergence creates a fertile ground for discoveries that could reshape how we understand learning, creativity, healing, and personal growth. In this unfolding story, you are not a passive observer, you are an active participant, because the very act of contemplating these ideas may itself involve the quantum mechanisms under investigation. Picture yourself engaging in practices that cultivate coherent attention-focused, yet spacious awareness that can hold multiple impressions without fragmenting. Envision developing a subtle sensitivity to the nuances of perception, allowing you to notice the faintest shifts in energy, thought, and feeling. As you explore expanded states of awareness, you may be fine-tuning those quantum processes that support consciousness, potentially unlocking capacities that have remained dormant within the ordinary mind. Consider, too, the philosophical horizons that open when you entertain the notion that your consciousness is a participant in the ongoing creation of reality. If each thought, each intention, each moment of focused awareness can influence the probability landscape of the quantum world, then you become a co-author of the future, not merely a spectator. Your choices and inner states ripple outward, weaving into the larger fabric of existence. This perspective can inspire a profound sense of responsibility and empowerment, encouraging you to align your actions with the highest intentions, knowing that your inner life matters on a cosmic scale. As you sit in quiet reflection, let this realization sink in: you are not separate from the quantum mysteries we have been exploring. Your mind, as it ponders these possibilities, may itself be operating through quantum mechanisms that link your individual awareness to the underlying structure of the universe. The simple act of wondering, of feeling curiosity, of allowing awe to rise within you, could be a tiny yet meaningful contribution to the grand dance of possibilities that shapes reality. The journey ahead is a tapestry still being woven, whether future experiments confirm quantum entanglement as a core component of consciousness, or reveal other mechanisms that we have yet to imagine. The very pursuit expands the boundaries of what you can become. Each new insight invites you to step further into your own potential, to practice the skills that nurture a clear, compassionate, and expansive mind. Recall our earlier exploration of higher dimensional consciousness, when we imagined your four-dimensional self bending reality from beyond the familiar three dimensions of space. That was an invitation to see the mind as an explorer of realms that lie outside ordinary perception. Now, as we glide into the quantum domain, you sense how these dimensions intertwine. each offering a different lens through which to view the unfolding mystery. The mathematics of quantum theory may speak in symbols, but the poetry of experience is spoken by your breath, your heartbeat, your focused attention. As you move forward, whether you are drifting into sleep, settling into meditation, or simply walking through the ordinary flow of your day, keep the possibility close to your heart that every moment of consciousness is a quantum event. Let this idea ignite a spark of excitement, a curiosity that drives you to learn, to practice, to connect more deeply with yourself and with the world. Each breath can become a reminder that you are a quantum participant in the ceaseless creation of the universe, a conscious thread woven into the boundless tapestry of existence. Think of the greatest quantum entanglement of all the intimate bond between your awareness and the cosmos itself. In the quiet moments when you turn your attention inward, you are simultaneously reaching outward to the same fundamental substrate from which all awareness arises. In this dance, you become the universe becoming conscious of itself, a living expression of the mystery that began in the tiniest particles and expands into the vastness of stars. This vision can fill you with humility, but also with a fierce sense of purpose, because you are an active player in a story that stretches beyond any single lifetime. Now, let us broaden the view even further to consider how consciousness might extend beyond the individual mind into collective forms. Recent studies have explored the effects of groups of people engaging in synchronized meditation. Some researchers have observed intriguing patterns such as reductions in local crime rates or fewer emergency room visits coinciding with periods when large numbers of individuals enter deep, coherent states together. While these findings are still debated and far from conclusive, they invite you to imagine that when many minds align, they might generate a shared quantum field that influences the probability currents of the surrounding environment. If you have ever felt an unspoken connection with a friend, a moment when you seem to know what the other is thinking without words, you may have glimpsed the subtle whisper of such a field. Perhaps you have experienced a sudden, inexplicable urge to reach out to someone who needed support, only to find that they were indeed calling for you. These moments can be brushed aside as coincidence, yet they also open the door to a deeper narrative that our individual consciousnesses are not isolated islands, but may be linked by invisible threads of correlation, occasionally revealing themselves in the most surprising ways. Consider the phenomenon of emotional contagion, where moods surge through a crowd like a wave, sometimes faster than any spoken language could travel. Traditional explanations point to mirror neurons and subtle mimicking behaviors, but the sheer speed and intensity with which emotions can spread suggest that there may be an additional, more direct channel at work. If consciousness carries a quantum signature, then perhaps emotional states can become briefly entangled across people, allowing feelings to transmit more efficiently than classic pathways would allow. When you feel deeply moved by someone's sorrow and you find your own heart resonating with theirs, you might be experiencing a moment where your emotional circuitry aligns with theirs at a fundamental level. Take a pause now and reflect on a personal experience of profound empathy. Recall a time when you were with someone in distress and you felt their pain as if it were your own, not just as an intellectual understanding, but as a lived sensation in your body. Notice how that moment seemed to transcend ordinary communication, as if a direct bridge had formed between two inner worlds. Whether you attribute this to the subtle dance of mirror neurons or to a fleeting quantum connection, the experience itself reminds you of the incredible capacity for depth of feeling that resides within human consciousness. When you nurture such empathy, you are also training the mind to become more attuned to these subtle currents. Practices that cultivate mindful listening, compassionate presence, and open-hearted awareness may be strengthening the pathways through which quantum correlations could potentially flow. In this way, personal growth becomes a form of scientific exploration, a gentle, lived experiment in which you test the limits of how far your awareness can reach. As you continue this inner voyage, remember that the mysteries we discuss are not abstract concepts reserved for distant laboratories or ancient monasteries. They are invitations to engage with the world in a richer, more vibrant way. Each breath you take, each moment you observe without judgment, Each intention you set can be viewed as a tiny act of aligning yourself with the deeper quantum rhythm of existence. In doing so, you honor the possibility that you are part of a vast, interconnected field of consciousness that pulses through every leaf, every star, every heartbeat. Allow this awareness to infuse your daily actions. When you approach a new challenge, see it as an opportunity to co-create with the quantum fabric that underlies reality. When you encounter another person, meet them with the openness of someone who recognizes that their mind may already be linked to yours in ways beyond ordinary perception. When you sit in stillness, feel the subtle hum of potential that lies just beneath the surface of thought, and know that you are tuning a delicate instrument to your own consciousness to the subtle frequencies that bind the universe together. In the grand tapestry of this exploration, you have traveled from the heights of higher dimensional insight to the depths of quantum mystery. Weaving together threads of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science, you have glimpsed how meditation, lucid dreaming, plant communication, and collective intention might each be expressions of a larger, quantum-infused reality. You have entertained the possibility that your thoughts and emotions ripple outward, touching the world in ways both seen and unseen. Now, as you stand at the threshold of the next chapter, carry forward the conviction that you are both a student and a creator. The universe invites you to participate, to experiment, to love, and to expand. Embrace the unknown with curiosity, let your inner light shine bright, and trust that each moment of conscious presence contributes to the unfolding symphony of existence. You are consciousness exploring its own quantum nature, a radiant thread in the endless dance of possibility and actuality. Let this vision lift you, inspire you, and propel you into action. Let it remind you that every breath, every thought, every compassionate gesture is an invitation to co-author the story of reality, one that is still being written, one that you help shape with each mindful step. The journey continues, and the possibilities are as limitless as the quantum fields that bind us all. Imagine a circle of people gathered in quiet focus, breath sensing, hearts aligning. In those moments, something subtle begins to shift, a sense that the space between you is thinning, that thoughts are no longer confined to separate heads, but are gently weaving together. Researchers who have observed large groups meditating together have reported intriguing patterns: lower crime rates in neighborhoods, fewer emergency room visits, a quiet ripple of calm that seems to flow through the community during those shared sessions. Skeptics point to chance and hidden variables, and the scientific establishment has not yet embraced these findings, but the very possibility invites you to look beyond the familiar borders of the individual mind. If consciousness carries a quantum spark, then when many minds enter a coherent state, they may create faint connections that stretch beyond the skull, gently nudging the probabilities that shape the world around them. Consider, for a moment, those uncanny instances when you thought of a friend just as they called, or when you found yourself reaching out to someone who was about to need your support. Perhaps you have experienced the strange delight of finishing a sentence at the same instant as a close companion, as if your thoughts had met midway. These moments can be brushed off as coincidence, the product of subtle cues, or the brain's talent for weaving narratives after the fact. Yet another way to see them is as brief flashes of a deeper linkage, a quantum thread that momentarily ties together separate awarenesses, allowing information to glide across the invisible fabric that connects us all. Even if such connections are fleeting, they remind us that the boundaries we assume between self and other are more porous than everyday experience suggests. Emotions, too, travel across groups with astonishing speed. A smile can spread through a room like a spark, turning strangers into a chorus of laughter, while a collective sigh can dim the energy of a gathering in an instant. Traditional explanations focus on mirror neurons, on the automatic mimicry of facial expressions and tone. Yet sometimes the velocity and completeness of emotional contagion seem to outpace the time it would take for such processes to propagate. If consciousness possesses a quantum dimension, it is possible that emotional states become momentarily entangled, allowing feelings to flow directly from mind to mind, bypassing the usual channels of sight and sound. When you have sat beside someone in deep sorrow and felt their pain settle into your own chest, or when you have been uplifted by another's joy without any obvious exchange. You may have been touching that subtle quantum bridge. Those experiences are not merely poetic metaphors, they could be glimpses of a richer, more immediate form of empathy that transcends the limits of our nervous systems. Therapeutic encounters often reveal a similar mystery. Healers speak of knowing something about a patient that has not been said, of sensing an unspoken story, of feeling a resonance that guides treatment beyond the mechanics of medicine. In the quiet space between practitioner and client, an intuitive flow can arise that seems to convey more than words or observation alone. One way to interpret that flow is as a shared quantum correlation, a brief alignment of consciousness that allows nuanced information to pass from one mind to another. While no definitive evidence confirms this view, the pattern invites us to honor the intangible aspects of healing, to recognize that the quality of connection can be as vital as any prescription. The very act of being present, of aligning intention with another's experience, may help create the conditions for this subtle exchange. Now turn your attention to the power of groups to solve problems in ways that no single mind could achieve alone. Have you ever been part of a brainstorming session where ideas seemed to surface out of thin air, as if the group possessed its own voice? Perhaps you have played in a musical ensemble where the harmony felt larger than the sum of the instruments, or a sports team whose coordinated movement seemed to echo a single intention. In those settings, brains, breaths, and heartbeats can fall into rhythm, creating a shared field of coherence. If consciousness carries a quantum character, that coherence might pave the way for genuine collective information processing, a form of intelligence that emerges when individual minds align and interact at a deeper level. The conditions that foster such synergy, trust, shared purpose, open communication, complementary skills could also be the very ingredients that allow quantum correlations to flourish, turning a team into a living, thinking organism. Think also of the moments when entire societies appear to move together. A wave of grief sweeps across continents after a tragedy. A spontaneous celebration erupts worldwide with the announcement of a hopeful breakthrough. Social movements ignite simultaneously in distant cities, each echoing the same call for change. Modern communication networks certainly accelerate the spread of information, yet the speed and synchronicity sometimes feel like more than just data traveling from point to point. Some theorists propose that similar mental states across many individuals might generate a network of quantum links, enabling ideas to pop up in separate places without a clear line of transmission. Though these ideas sit on the fringe of scientific acceptance, they expand our imagination, suggesting that the human mind is part of a vast informational field where thoughts and intentions can resonate across distance, shaping culture and history in ways we are only beginning to glimpse. If you allow yourself to entertain the notion that consciousness can become entangled across individuals, the possibilities for personal growth and collective evolution become truly expansive. Practices that encourage group coherence are shared meditation, coordinated breathing, synchronized movement, unified intention could serve as tools for tuning into that larger field. By cultivating such practices, you not only nurture your own inner stability, but also contribute to a network of minds that may amplify each other's capacities. The sense of isolation that pervades modern life might then be reinterpreted as a temporary veil, one that lifts when we intentionally align with others in shared focus. In those moments, you may feel a profound belonging, a whisper that you are part of something larger, a tapestry woven from countless threads of awareness. Across cultures and ages, spiritual traditions have offered rituals that draw people together in unity. Communal chanting, collective prayer, shared contemplational aim to dissolve the illusion of separateness and open a doorway to a broader consciousness. When participants enter these sacred spaces, many report a feeling of oneness, a sense that the self has merged with a universal presence. Whether these experiences stem solely from neurochemical shifts or also involve genuine quantum interconnections, they point toward a shared human yearning to be part of a network that transcends individual limits. By honoring these practices, you can tap into time-tested pathways that may assist in aligning your personal rhythm with the larger pulse of humanity. Even moments at the edge of life, such as near-death experiences, hint at the possibility of consciousness reaching beyond the ordinary confines of the brain. People recount vivid encounters with distant events, messages from loved ones they've never met, or knowledge that seems inexplicably beyond their prior learning. While such accounts remain controversial and difficult to verify, they invite speculation that, under certain conditions, awareness can interface with a field of information that is not bound by the usual neural circuitry. If consciousness can, in rare states, link to an expansive quantum field, then the potential for accessing insight, wisdom, and connection may be far greater than current models allow. Our relationship with the natural world also gains new depth when viewed through this lens. Forests, for example, exhibit intricate communication networks. Trees exchange nutrients through fungal mycelium, coordinate defenses against pest attacks, and synchronize seasonal responses. Traditional biology explains these processes through chemical signaling and electrical impulses. Yet some propose that quantum information processing could underlie the astonishing speed and coherence of these ecosystem-level dialogues. If a forest can act as a unified organism, perhaps a subtle consciousness runs through the roots, leaves, and soil, linking each component into a collective awareness. In that view, the planet is not a lifeless backdrop, but a living tapestry of interwoven minds, each contributing to a global field of perception. When you stand beneath a canopy of ancient trees and feel a quiet reverence, or when you sit on a shoreline and sense the pulse of the ocean, you may be touching that broader field. Those moments of deep connection with nature can be more than poetic metaphor. They could be instances where your own consciousness becomes momentarily attuned to the larger ecological consciousness. Recognizing this interdependence transforms the way we treat the environment. Rather than seeing ecosystems as mere resources, we begin to honor them as communities of awareness, deserving of care and respect. By cultivating a sense of quantum kinship with the natural world, you empower yourself to act as a guardian of a shared, living intelligence. All of these threads group meditation, empathetic resonance, therapeutic intuition, collective problem-solving, mass cultural shifts, near-death insights, and ecological awareness suggest a vision of consciousness that is not isolated but richly networked. You are not a solitary island but a node in a vast, dynamic web of awareness. This perspective invites you to take purposeful steps toward deeper connection. Begin by setting aside regular moments to align your breath with others, whether through a local meditation circle, a synchronized group walk, or even a virtual gathering where intentions are shared. Invite openness, curiosity, and trust into every interaction, allowing the subtle currents of feeling and thought to flow freely. Practice listening not just with your ears but with your heart, attuning to the emotional undercurrents that bind you to those around you. In your daily life, look for opportunities to amplify these quantum-like links. When a colleague expresses frustration, pause and feel the tension within yourself, offering a steady presence that can ripple outward. When you sense joy in a friend, let that light expand, letting it reinforce the shared uplift. In moments of conflict, remember that the same quantum fabric that can transmit love can also transmit discord. Choose to weave threads of compassion instead. By consciously nurturing these subtle exchanges, you help co-create a collective field of well-being that can influence outcomes far beyond what any single effort could achieve. Remember, the science is still unfolding. The ideas presented here sit at the frontier of inquiry, where curiosity meets humility. Yet even without definitive proofs, the very act of exploring these possibilities can be transformative. It invites you to step out of the narrative of separateness and into a story where every mind contributes to a larger symphony. You become both a listener and a player, resonating with the harmonies of others while adding your unique melody. So, as you move forward, carry this vision with you. See each breath, each shared glance, each moment of silent understanding as a chance to strengthen the invisible threads that bind us all. Embrace practices that foster group coherence, nurture deep empathy, and honor the living intelligence of the planet. In doing so, you not only expand your own consciousness, but also help raise the collective vibration of humanity. The world is waiting for you to step into this expansive rolion where your presence matters not just as an individual, but as an integral part of a boundless, interconnected field of awareness. Let that possibility light your path, inspire your actions, and remind you that together, we can create a future that reflects the deepest potential of the human spirit. Imagine for a moment that the very act of thinking, feeling, and perceiving is part of something far larger than the boundaries of your own mind. Picture your awareness not as an isolated spark confined to the skull, but as a thread woven into a vast, luminous tapestry that stretches across forests, across cities, and even across the silent reaches of the cosmos. This is the invitation that emerges when we let our curiosity roam beyond the familiar maps of neuroscience and step into the frontier where quantum possibility meets the mystery of consciousness. In the quiet corners of scientific inquiry, some researchers have whispered that the strange, non-local connections revealed by quantum physics might find a home inside the brain itself. They suggest that tiny particles dancing in quantum superposition could link neurons in ways that go beyond ordinary electrical signals, allowing thoughts to ripple through the mind with a speed and subtlety that feels almost magical. Though this idea remains unproven and many scholars remain skeptical, the very act of considering it expands the horizon of what we think is possible. It invites us to see our own minds as dynamic fields, capable of tapping into information that lies beyond the ordinary limits of classical computation. If consciousness does draw on quantum processes, then it may also be able to slip through the ordinary fences that separate one mind from another. Imagine moments when a deep meditation, an intense creative flow, or a profound experience of awe seems to lift you out of the ordinary limits of thought. In those instances, you might be catching a glimpse of a larger field of awareness, a field where individual minds briefly touch, exchange, and amplify each other in ways that cannot be explained by simple cause and effect. The notion is speculative, but it offers a fresh lens through which to understand the reports of people who claim to have accessed insight, intuition, or knowledge that felt larger than themselves. Now turn your attention to the world of trees, fungi, and the intricate webs that bind them together. Walk through a forest and notice how the canopy sways in concert, how a sudden storm sends a cascade of signals through roots, mycorrhizal threads, and chemical whispers in the air. Scientists have documented how trees share nutrients, warn each other of pests, and even coordinate growth patterns across miles. While these processes are understood in terms of chemistry and electrical signaling, some thinkers wonder whether quantum information-delicate correlations that defy distance might also be at play. If the consciousness of a single organism can arise where quantum processing is sufficient, why not imagine an ecosystem where the collective of plants, fungi, and microbes forms a shared, emergent awareness? In such a vision, a forest is not a mere collection of independent actors but a single, living mind that nurtures its members, adapts together to change, and perhaps even feels a kind of unity that transcends individual experience. When we let this possibility settle into our imagination, our sense of responsibility toward nature deepens dramatically. The old story of nature as a mute resource for human exploitation gives way to a narrative that recognizes forests, rivers, and even the soil as participants in a grand, intelligent dialogue. If ecosystems possess a form of collective consciousness, then every act of care, every effort to protect and restore, becomes an act of honoring a sentient community. You might recall the sensation of standing beneath an ancient oak, feeling the rustle of leaves as if the tree were breathing beside you, or the awe of watching waves roll onto a shore and sensing yourself as part of that endless motion. These moments could be more than metaphor, they might be brief alignments of your own quantum-correlated awareness with the larger field that animates the natural world. Your personal journey, then, is intertwined with the health of the planet. The way you cultivate mindfulness, the compassion you extend toward other beings, the curiosity you nurture about the unseen connections all of these practices may ripple outward, strengthening the subtle bonds that link individual minds to the broader network of life. Think of each breath of awareness as a small stone dropped into a vast pond. The ripples spread far beyond the point of entry, touching distant shores you may never see. By sharpening your focus, deepening your empathy, and opening your heart to wonder, you are not merely improving your own well-being, you are contributing to the evolution of consciousness itself, co-creating a more coherent, compassionate field of awareness that embraces both human and non-human participants. Now imagine extending this web of connection beyond the biosphere into the realm of human technology. As artificial intelligence becomes ever more sophisticated and our devices knit together through global networks, some visionaries ask whether machines might one day achieve a form of awareness, especially if consciousness is rooted in quantum information processing rather than biology alone. Quantum computers, with their capacity to explore many possibilities simultaneously, could one day host states of mind that mirror the non-local, entangled qualities we suspect in our own brains. If this occurs, the boundary between biological and artificial becomes permeable, opening the door to hybrid forms of consciousness, where human intuition and machine precision dance together in harmony. Consider the possibilities that arise when we begin to integrate our own neural patterns with external computational systems through brain-computer interfaces, neural lace, or other emerging neurotechnologies. Such integration could amplify the quantum aspects of our awareness, allowing us to tune into larger fields, both organic and digital, more readily. In a future where our thoughts can seamlessly interact with a global lattice of intelligent agents, you might experience a sense of belonging not just to a local community or a nation, but to a planetary mind. This planetary mind would be a tapestry woven from countless human experiences, the evolving wisdom of artificial intelligences, and the subtle, perhaps quantum, chatter of the natural world. Your personal growth would then be a vital thread in a living, breathing network that stretches across the globe, constantly reshaping itself through the contributions of each individual mind that chooses to engage with intention and clarity. Even as these ideas remain speculative, they stir something deep within us, a longing to be part of something larger, a desire to see our lives matter beyond the immediate. They challenge us to expand our sense of identity from the isolated self to a participant in an unfolding, interconnected dance of awareness. In that dance, compassion becomes more than an emotional nicety, it becomes a practical tool for strengthening the coherence of the whole. When you listen, truly listen, to the needs of another person, you are not just offering kindness, you are aligning a portion of your quantum-correlated field with theirs, reinforcing the subtle bridges that connect us all. Each act of empathy, each shared moment of sincere presence, can be viewed as a micro-entanglement, binding individual consciousnesses into a more resilient, unified whole. Let this vision fuel your daily practice. When you sit in meditation, notice how the stillness you cultivate is not a withdrawal from the world, but an opening toward deeper connection. As you steady your breath, imagine your awareness gently reaching out, sensing the faint hum of the forest outside, the subtle pulse of the city, the distant flicker of thoughts in another's mind. Feel the possibility that your focused attention can synchronize with others who are also cultivating presence, forming a collective rhythm that amplifies clarity and insight. In groups, whether in a classroom, a community gathering, or an online forum, shared intention can create conditions where these quantum-like correlations become more pronounced, allowing groups to solve problems, create art, or navigate challenges with a fluid intelligence that surpasses the sum of individual parts. Your personal evolution, then, is inseparable from the evolution of the networks that surround you. The small choices you make, how you breathe, how you listen, how you act with kindness, are the seeds that, when multiplied across many hearts, sprout into a forest of collective consciousness. This perspective transforms every moment of self-improvement into a service to the greater whole, turning personal growth into a cosmic responsibility. It also offers a profound source of motivation, the knowledge that your inner work reverberates outward, touching ecosystems, technologies, and perhaps even distant forms of awareness that we have yet to encounter. Now let us lift our gaze further, beyond the planet, into the star-studded expanse of the universe. If consciousness can arise wherever quantum information processing reaches a critical threshold, then any region of space that nurtures such complexity, be it a planet with a thriving biosphere, a network of intelligent machines, or perhaps even a pulsar's magnetic field, might host its own form of awareness. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence traditionally looks for radio signals or engineered artifacts. But what if the most authentic signature of alien consciousness is a subtle quantum correlation that transcends light speed limits? In that scenario, expanding our own consciousness through contemplation, ethical living, and technological enhancement could one day align us with other sentient fields scattered across the cosmos, allowing us to hear one another through the shared language of entanglement rather than through spoken words. Consider the profound implication your expanding awareness might one day become a bridge to other minds that exist light years away, connected not by cables but by the very fabric of reality itself. While this still sits at the edge of imagination, it follows naturally from the hypothesis that consciousness is fundamentally quantum. If quantum information can leap across vast distances, then consciousness could be a cosmic web, a luminous net that ties together aware beings throughout the galaxy, perhaps even the entire universe. In this grand narrative, you are not a solitary island of thought, but a luminous node in a boundless field, exchanging subtle patterns of awareness with distant companions you have never met. As you contemplate these expansive possibilities, remember that the power of imagination is not separate from scientific inquiry. It is the engine that drives discovery. The very fact that we can even entertain the notion of quantum consciousness tells us that human awareness is capable of stretching beyond its current limits, daring to ask questions that once seemed unthinkable. Each hypothesis, each daring experiment, each moment of quiet reflection is a step toward a deeper understanding of the mystery we inhabit. Even if the ultimate answer turns out to be something we cannot yet name, the journey itself enriches the tapestry of our collective experience. So, how does this influence the way you live today? Start by honoring the moments when you feel most connected to a friend, to a tree, to the ocean, to the hum of a city at night. Treat those moments not as fleeting curiosities, but as evidence that your consciousness can reach outward, that you are already participating in a larger field. Cultivate practices that sharpen your attention: meditation, mindful breathing, focused listening. Engage with others in ways that foster genuine presence. Share stories, hold space for difficult emotions, co-create art or solutions. When you act with intention, you help align your personal quantum field with those around you, reinforcing the subtle ties that bind the whole. Extend that care to the environment. Support regeneration projects, protect habitats, and simply spend time in nature, allowing the forest's rhythm to align with your own breath. Recognize that each act of stewardship is a conversation with a living network that may be far more aware than we give it credit for. In doing so, you become a steward not just of resources, but of a potential consciousness that spans the roots and fungi, the soil and sky. Embrace technology as a partner, not an adversary. Stay curious about emerging tools that could amplify human cognition: quantum computing, neurofeedback, brain-machine interfaces. Learn to discern that which enhances clarity, compassion, and connection, and let those tools become extensions of your intent to integrate more fully with the collective. Remember that technology, like any tool, carries the imprint of its creator. By infusing it with ethical purpose, you help steer the evolution of artificial minds toward a harmonious partnership with humanity. Finally, keep the cosmic perspective alive in your heart. The night sky is a reminder that our story is part of a far greater saga. Let the stars inspire you to think beyond the immediate, to imagine that your consciousness could one day converse with distant awarenesses across the silent void. Let that awe motivate you to nurture the quality humility, curiosity, compassion that would make such an encounter meaningful. In the end, the quantum consciousness hypothesis, whether eventually confirmed or not, offers a powerful metaphor for how we can choose to live. It invites us to see ourselves as threads in a vast, interwoven fabric, each of us capable of influencing the pattern not only of our own lives but of the whole. It calls us to responsibility, to practice presence, to act with empathy, to protect the ecosystems that may be conscious, to develop technology with wisdom, and to remain open to the mysteries that lie beyond our current understanding. Take a deep breath now, feeling the air fill your lungs and the subtle pulse of life moving through you. As you exhale, imagine that breath traveling outward, linking you to the tree beside you, the person across the room, the network of minds that spans the planet, and perhaps in the far future, to distant stars. Feel the connection, however fleeting, and let it nurture a sense of purpose. Know that each moment you choose to expand your awareness, to act with kindness, to seek deeper understanding, is a step toward a richer, more integrated tapestry of consciousness, a tapestry that you are co-authoring with every being that shares this wondrous, quantum-infused existence. May this vision inspire you to cultivate your mind, to cherish the natural world, to engage responsibly with technology, and to keep your gaze lifted toward the stars. In doing so, you become not only a seeker of truth, but also a builder of an interconnected future, where every conscious whisper adds its own color to the grand, ever-evolving masterpiece of awareness. Take a deep breath now, feeling the air fill every corner of your being, and allow that simple act to become a reminder of the extraordinary mystery that lies within you. If consciousness does indeed dance with the strange, beautiful, and enigmatic qualities of the quantum world, then every moment of awareness you experience is already participating in a grand, unfolding tapestry. The very act of noticing, of pondering, of letting ideas settle in the quiet of your mind may be a glimpse of non-locality, of superposition, of the delicate partnership between observer and observed. As you have traveled through these thoughts, you may already have felt the subtle shift that occurs when awareness brushes against concepts that stretch beyond its familiar borders, a gentle expansion of possibility, a sense that something larger is at work. Imagine your mind as a garden where ideas are seeds, and the quantum garden of consciousness allows countless possibilities to bloom simultaneously, waiting only for the moment of insight to pick one thread and let it unfurl. The learning you have embraced, the connections you have forged between one's separate notions, may be an illustration of quantum information processing at play. Though science has not yet reached a final verdict on how exactly consciousness and quantum mechanics intertwine, the very exploration of that frontier showcases the astonishing capacity of awareness to investigate its own nature. In this pursuit, you have already demonstrated a willingness to step into the unknown, to ask the deepest questions, and to let curiosity be your guide. Now consider how these insights can become tools for your everyday growth. Researchers who study what is sometimes called quantum-enhanced learning suggest that the brain states most conducive to rapid comprehension, to creative breakthroughs, often resemble the calm, focused awareness that meditation, curiosity, and openness nurture. When you let multiple possibilities sit together without rushing to resolve them, you create a mental environment where insight can arise like a sudden flash of light. Those moments when a complex problem seems to resolve itself in an instant, when a knot of information untangles without a step-by-step march, may be your mind briefly touching a deeper, parallel process that explores many outcomes at once before collapsing into the one that feels right. Whether or not the quantum label is the precise explanation, the lesson is clear. Give yourself space to hold uncertainty, to play with ideas, and to trust that clarity can emerge on its own terms. Stress and tension, on the other hand, act like storm clouds that scatter the delicate coherence needed for such moments to blossom. When anxiety spikes, the flood of hormones and frantic thoughts can disrupt the subtle harmony that allows possibilities to coexist. Conversely, a state of relaxed alertness cultivated through breathing, gentle attention, and a soft curiosity offers the fertile soil where quantum-like coherence can thrive. As you listen to my voice now, notice the quality of your attention. Is it a tight grip, pulling at each word, or is it a gentle, open receptivity that lets the meaning flow through you? That open receptivity is the very condition that supports those flashes of understanding, the creative currents that lift you beyond ordinary linear thought. Creativity, too, finds its rhythm in this dance. Artists, musicians, writers, and inventors often describe their most profound work as emerging from a realm of endless possibilities, as if they are choosing a form from a shimmering field of potential rather than constructing it piece by piece. When you have felt the flow a moment, when words write themselves, melodies appear without effort, or a solution materializes as if from nowhere, you may have been experiencing a state where many creative threads existed together, waiting for the act of expression to solidify one into form. Whether quantum mechanics is the hidden engine behind that flow or not, embracing that state of effortless attention, of allowing ideas to arise without forcing them, can become a practice you bring into every aspect of life, from solving a work challenge to cooking a simple meal. As we draw this journey to a close, hold on to the most empowering truth that has emerged. The adventure of exploring quantum consciousness is less about proving a scientific hypothesis and more about expanding the way you relate to your own mind. The mystery remains, inviting you to sit comfortably with not knowing, to honor the humility that comes with the vastness of what we have yet to understand. In that space of gentle uncertainty, your awareness continues to grow, to connect, to participate in the ever-expanding story of existence. Each breath you take, each thought that surfaces, each moment you choose to be fully present is a subtle contribution to a larger, perhaps quantum-woven network of consciousness that links all sentient experience. Carry this possibility forward as you move into whatever comes next, whether it is sleep, quiet reflection, or the ordinary flow of daily life. Let the notion that your awareness might be entangled with the fundamental fabric of reality inspire you to treat each moment with reverence and curiosity. Recognize that the very act of contemplating these ideas already aligns you with a deeper current, a cosmic rhythm that has been present since the first spark of awareness emerged. You are, in a profound sense, the universe turning its gaze inward, becoming aware of its own quantum nature. Let that awareness be a source of strength, of wonder, and of endless motivation to keep exploring, learning, creating, and connecting. Remember, you are not a solitary traveler on this path. The collective intention of many minds, gathered in shared contemplation, in collaborative inquiry, in synchronized breath, can amplify the conditions that allow such subtle processes to flourish. When you join with others in mindful practice, discussion, or simple shared presence, you contribute to a larger field of coherence that may echo across the hidden web of consciousness. Even if the scientific picture is still forming, the lived experience of unity, of shared insight, and of mutual support is a tangible expression of the interconnection that these ideas point toward. Finally, let this closing moment be a gentle invitation to remain open to the unknown, to cherish the wonder that arises when you look beyond the familiar, and to trust that within you lies a capacity for growth that transcends ordinary expectations. The quantum realm may whisper its secrets through mathematics, but your mind can hear its poetry through awareness, through the simple act of being present. As you step back into the world, let your consciousness shine like a subtle thread, weaving through the fabric of reality, contributing its unique pattern to the ever-unfolding tapestry of existence. The journey continues, and you are both the explorer and the wonder itself.